All right, we should be good.
Okay, and off we go. Good morning, everyone. I will call this meeting to order of the DeKalb County Commissioners, and today's date is January 22nd, 2024. Good morning, Todd.
Morning.
Dottie, good morning.
Morning.
You're off and running.
Yes, we are. Well, we have a safety committee meeting on January the 25th at 8:30 in the White Room over in the 9th Street Annex, and in anticipation of which we'll probably talk with insurance trustees and IPEP regarding our claims, but currently we only have 5 open claims. 4 are from the sheriff's office and 1 is from the highway. So that's not really bad. I think they will give us 2 thumbs up on that. We had 2 claims close as of December 31st, and that was one from Community Corrections, and the other one was from the Sheriff's Office. So, like I said, I think we're doing pretty well. So we will be talking about claims, of course, and trends, and we have some information regarding the 9th Street Annex, and our GIS department has created a couple lovely maps for us, some schematics of the building, so that maybe we can start posting those things for escape routes. So we'll be talking about that. Another thing is I had sent you information on our turnover rates for 2023. I think that was pretty good. 18.8% for 2023. In the years past, it's been in the 20s. And so we averaged about 312 employees per month having on the payroll, and an average of 4.9 employees left us each month. And so we had, June was kind of a bad month where we had 10 employees who left. Community Corrections, Sunny Meadows each had 3, and then the other 4 were kind of spread out amongst others. So I think our turnover rate is doing pretty well.
Speaking about Community Corrections, do they give a reason on their separation as to why they've quit?
We have a form that is completed when somebody terminates, and so on the form there is a reason for termination, whether or not it was a voluntary termination or involuntary termination, and if there's a letter of resignation, it would be attached, and so, yeah, we have that. There is also a little box to check whether or not the department would rehire the person. And so, yeah, we try to cover our bases because it's possible that, the management out there won't be there if this person were to, reapply, and it's like, oh, yeah, what was the story behind that person last time? Oh, let's look in their file. And so we have some of that data.
Good.
Yep, yeah. We have things that we are recruiting. First of all, I sent you a message late on Friday that the HR assistant has submitted her resignation, given her 2 weeks' notice, and going to a very nice opportunity, at least it sounds like. So, hoping that you will agree with me that we will be looking for someone to fill that position, to hopefully fill my position. Of course, that's always been the goal, is that you should always have a succession plan. You hope that somebody who is currently working there could take over. And so be looking for somebody like that. We have development services, still the code officer. Chris is actually reviewing resumes right now. When the last I saw him, he had a pile of yeses and a pile of nos, and they were both pretty good. I mean, a lot. So that was on the positive note. I think we had some good candidates. Probation is still looking for that grant-funded probation officer, and I will say that about 90% of the resumes that came in did not have a degree, even though it states right in the posting, must have a degree. And so, of course, that's something that, we just can't move forward with any of those people. Right now, the Highway Department, we are doing we're waiting for results of a background check for one person, and we are still taking applications. So, because we'll have another retirement coming up fairly soon. So, we're staying up on that. Sheriff's Department, confinement officers, that posting is still out until it's filled. I'll be honest, I don't know where we're at with people. It's just like with Central Communications. We put the posting out, the people ask for the application packet, and then with the sheriff's office, it is turned back into them. So we're not sure just how many we have and how many are in the pipeline, that would qualify. Community corrections, we have an administrative position that they are interviewing for that one. And at Change Academy, one of their facilitators, they are currently doing the background check and the drug screen. So they're moving ahead with those two positions. Central, we are receiving application packets until February the 1st for that last dispatcher position that they have open. And we haven't received a lot of them yet. So people probably figure they have until February the 1st to return them and to take their evaluations at Work One. Then at Sunny Meadows, Angela asked me to post for the part-time third shift weekend only position. That's a new one that was approved last year. So we are getting some resumes on that, some applications. So that's good. She and I will be talking sometime soon about revising their job descriptions. She'd like to sit down and just talk it through, to see if they need revised. They haven't been revised since they were originally done. I'm doing the same thing this week with Nellie. Now, their job descriptions were revised back in 2020. And that was about the time when Nellie, there was a reorganization there. And so then they hired Nellie. So we're going to talk about what she feels needs to be revised. As we're getting to, the job classification subcommittee for this project, the season to do this is from February to April. And so I had mentioned to our department heads that if they had anything that they wanted to discuss, if they felt that things needed to be revised, they needed to start working on it, back in December to be ready to go in February. So we do have a few that are on the docket. The Job Classification Subcommittee has already scheduled a meeting on February the 16th at 3:30 in the afternoon. So that's the first one. So at least we have those things on the docket. That's good. Let's see. The health plan, I was speaking with our broker last week regarding a 6-month review of the health plan. We will probably want to schedule an executive session in February. So they're waiting until we get the numbers for all through December. And because it just takes time. And then as soon as they have what, they think would be, a good time frame, I'll get with you guys about scheduling that, since we have a lot of information that we will need to share.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. Okay, let's see.
So you'll just let me know as you get closer?
Oh, yeah, of course, yep. Just kind of an FYI, still keeping track, so are a lot of law firms, on the white-collar overtime rule. The feds, the Department of Labor, have a proposed increase to the exempt employee salary threshold, and I've kind of kept you guys up to date. It came out in August of last year. They're still thinking about it, and there was a webinar last week that I attended, and as far as anybody knows, the law firms, Department of Labor is still thinking that it's going to go in, sometime soon, probably third quarter of this year. If that's the case, and I told you that I think your staff that you directly supervise are pretty good because of the raises that were given from council. So we are probably in good shape. There are just a couple positions that I will question, but I do have the attorneys who did this, Barnes and Thornburg. They always say, "Hey, if you have any questions, let us know." So it's free advice, and they offer. So I did have some specific positions. They generally gear these toward private sector employers, as you can imagine, because there are very few governmental entities. And so when I bring these things up, it's always more governmental, focused. So waiting on an answer from them on those couple of positions that I'm questioning if they really fall or if they're a public safety thing. So we'll see. Okay. This kind of all goes into the health plan, and going forward, if we decide to do some sort of a wellness component to our self-insured, the first thing is our wellness event that we have had every year. Commissioners approve to pay for all employees who participate. Remember, this is all voluntary, done with Parkview. You've also agreed to pay for the employees' spouses who are on the health plan. And it's been about $1,500. We haven't really spent a whole lot. We have about, historically, maybe mid-30s, the number of employees that we've had participate. Now, we currently have a spot, we kind of carved out a spot March the 26th with Parkview, just to get on their calendar. Now, here's the thing. If you were to decide, and it's almost too soon for us to start talking about incorporating that into a wellness component. If you were to say to the employees who are on the health plan, if you do this, we will, we're going to pay for it, but then also we will, deduct something from your premium, those sorts of things. I talked to Apex last week about going forward with any of that sort of thing. There are lots of little pieces that we would have to put together. They have a compliance person who would, chime in. Bill and Lauren are people who are really working with our account. So it's something to keep in mind. I don't know if we go ahead and we do it like we've done it in the past, this year again, it's something to think about for going forward. We could always do, not do it this time and a little bit later in the year after we have evaluated a wellness plan and then being able to incorporate that into it. And maybe that would incentivize a few more of our employees who are on the health plan, spouses who are on the health plan, to maybe do this health risk assessment. Something to think about. So along with that, There are lots of moving pieces to this. The gym membership thing. Bottom line is that room over in development services needs to be shut down. I mean, that we know. I also understand that you guys would prefer to be able to offer something to those employees, those small group of employees who are using that room, but then to other employees. What we can do without incorporating it into a wellness program, but keep in mind that this could be later on, if we wanted to, it could all be thrown together as part of our incentive for a healthier lifestyle, things like that. Okay. But I've given you the information from all of the fitness locations that we have here in DeKalb County. I have been told by Apex that if we wanted to simply do a reimbursement to an employee, that they sign up or they're already a member, and then they provide through some sort of a form a report that they utilized the facility X number of times, and you guys would set the number of times, and then they would turn that into us. We would have some sort of a mechanism with payroll, with the auditor's office, to reimburse the employee X number of dollars. So the X is what you guys would decide that you would want to do. So it can be done totally outside of any incentive. We don't want any Biggest Losers or whatever sort of campaigns going on. But there would need to be a, some sort of, I feel, a utilization. And I know Todd mentioned that, people could clock in. And I think if employees paid for a membership themselves and we then would reimburse X number of dollars, I think that we wouldn't have as many people just clocking in just to get the reimbursement. They would, that's an effort to go and clock in, and you actually have to clock in. Even at Planet Fitness, there is an app that you have to use your a key code, a QR code, boop, at there to clock in. So there's that. Then the YMCA, and I have let you know that the YMCA, we have an arrangement with them, and our rates are good until May the 1st, but their rates will be going up from $36 monthly to $38 monthly for a single membership, or from $51 monthly to $53 monthly for a family membership. And so currently we have 45 employees with memberships there. Most of them are actually family memberships. We do not contribute anything to their memberships. I guess my thing was, do we want to continue this relationship with them? It's simply we promote it and we deduct it from their paycheck. When I checked with the Y, there were no extra discounts than what I've already stated. So, and so we have an MOU that would need to be voted upon and executed. And Susan, I actually had another copy. I brought another copy this morning so that, we could have Bill just sign both of them and I can take one or whatever. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot to this puzzle, and we kind of have to break it down. How are we looking at it? Down the road, do we want to incorporate these things into a wellness kind of incentivizing sort of thing, and making sure that we do it legally. And also, if we were to reimburse our employees, that is taxable income. So if it's $10, if it's $25, it's practically de minimis, but not really. It's still something. So.
Okay. What do you think, gentlemen? You want to continue the Y membership memo of understanding? Todd?
I think they're a good organization and they promote family values and I have no problem with it. I think we should keep the MOU with them.
I agree.
Okay. I'll ask for a motion then.
I'll move that we continue or re-sign the MOU with DeKalb County YMCA.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additional comments?
Yeah, sorry, that was done before Friday. Yeah, so, yeah. Why don't you just cross that one out? I think my name is, just put my name on there. Yeah. Thank you. I totally forgot. We did that, yeah. So,
Okay, comments from the public? Okay, roll call. Susan?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Oh,
So you want him to sign this one too?
sure, yeah. That way you can keep the one and I'll take the other one, yeah. And get that over to the Y, so.
okay.
Okay, well, I had a lot on my agenda, but that's a lot for you to think about. So
Yeah.
I needed to bring that to your attention. We need to get something rolling because insurance trustees would really like that room to be
No,
closed. Yes, please.
get that as a priority.
Yeah.
2
And
weeks.
I'll tell you, I talked with the sheriff. I talked with Larry Lane, 2 individuals who should be in the know of how did this room come about, who was in charge, where did the equipment come from, blah, 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 blah. It's almost like Schultz from Hogan's Heroes. I know nothing. I'm sorry. You would think that somebody would have remembered something and nothing. And, I suppose I could put a sign in there asking, hey, if you use this facility and know anything, please let HR know. But you would think those 2 individuals.
It's been there for a very long time.
I know. It was here before I came on board. Because I had employees here at the courthouse or other buildings asking me, well, can I use that room? And they go, the gym. And what? What are we talking about? And so I finally had, I had to go over and take a look at it, and it was like, oh, okay. I mean, that was 2016. So anyway, yeah, it's been around for a while. So. Yeah.
Okay. Anything for Dottie, Todd, Mike?
Nothing here.
I have a request, Dottie.
Yeah.
And that is when you interviewed your applicants for your assistant, I would like for you to bring in maybe the top 2 or top 3 in the commissioner court,
Okay.
and we would participate in that interview also.
Sure.
Is that doable?
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
That's all I had. Anything else for Dottie? I think you're cut loose, Dottie.
All righty. See
That
ya.
would be under an executive session, I assume.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a good day, Dottie. Stay safe. Don't
Yeah.
slip and fall out there.
Yeah, we don't need that again. Thanks.
Okay, we got about 5 minutes. Let's jump over into payroll.
I'll move to approve payroll.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve payroll. Any additional comments? Commissioners or public? Roll call for payroll.
Yes.
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 Got it. Okay, on down to claims. You get a chance to look at the claims, gentlemen?
Yes.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
That a move? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got it. Claims are motion and a second. Additional comments? Commissioners or public? All those in favor signify, or roll call.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. Minutes. Motion to approve minutes.
So moved.
And seconded.
Any motion is second. Additional comments? Public? Although, or roll call.
It's going to be one of those. Todd,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. Okay. We have about 3 minutes. Let's look at that application for the courthouse lawn.
What are we looking at, Bill?
Application for use of the courthouse lawn in June.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that was, as much as I love right to life and I'm a strong right to lifer, does this open, and we've discussed this before, does it open some nefarious groups to coming in and using it also? If we grant one, do we have to grant everyone? You know what I mean? Whereas we've told them before, just stay on the sidewalk because that's public property, they do what they want. That concerns me just a little.
Well, the application says north side of the courthouse just on the sidewalk, which is really a city. That's certain city jurisdiction, not ours, and they.
I assume they're talking about the ramp coming up maybe to the courthouse
Okay,
also,
Yeah.
which I think would be fine. But I don't, point well taken, Todd, I don't know.
Well, we denied someone the use last year, and I can't remember who it was. Because, and then I can't remember, but, you know, if you get the KKK in or something and they say, hey, we're no different than right to life, why can't we do it? You know? Just concerns me a little.
You can't have viewpoint discrimination. I think that's pretty clear from the First Amendment perspective. You can't just open it for groups that you agree with.
Right.
So
Right.
your policy has to be uniform.
Yeah.
It might be a good idea. What is the current policy?
The commissioners
Yeah,
decide.
The commissioners,
The commissioners
I didn't
decide.
know if there was a blanket rule like nobody uses this or nobody uses that.
Well, I mean, that's really kind of what we've been going by, is we haven't been giving anybody permission just because of that. You know, do we want to open that door or not? I mean, I agree with Todd. I mean, Right to Life is a great organization, and you know, I certainly am in sync with them on that end of things, but I don't know about.
If I remember right, I think the last time you guys didn't like flat out, you didn't really act on this part. You just had us let them know that the sidewalk is not part of our jurisdiction to be able to decide that they just couldn't be on our lawn.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was Mr. Hymack that we denied. He wanted to have some type of rally, and we turned him down for that. Or not rally, he wanted this demonstration or such. And his was a good cause also, but we didn't want we can't discriminate. So I say just say, hey, you can do it, but you got to do it on the sidewalk. But the lawn's off limits, I think.
Okay. Want to do a motion to that degree? Sidewalk only?
That's up to you guys.
We would deny it. We do want to table it.
My motion would be to deny the application, but to inform them that they can use the sidewalk. And we need to tell them why we deny it. We can't discriminate, and anyone can use the sidewalk, however.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I'll second that. And I would also let them know that they probably should let City of Auburn know that they're going to be there, just so there's
Okay.
some coordination there. You know, like I said, I'm really sympathetic to the organization. But I think we need to have
So that
a
was-
firm policy.
So we have a motion and a second. Todd motioned, right?
So you motion to not deny it, but to the use of the sidewalk.
Motion was to deny the
To deny it.
application as written, and let them know that they can use the sidewalk, but not the lawn.
Correct.
That was the motion. I seconded it anyway.
Yeah. A motion and a second?
And to talk to the city?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Any additional comments, commissioners or public? Roll call?
Todd?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes. Okay. Jesse's here. You are up. What you got for us today? What can we do for you? Would you sign in, please, and state your name? Is that mic on? Blue light?
Push the gray button in the middle.
Blue button's on?
There you
So
go.
we're good? All
There
right.
you go.
You're
Hey,
good.
good morning, everybody.
Thank you.
I want to thank Jody and the lady here for helping me get this accomplished and getting up here. I tried helping you guys out with the license plates, but for you all to know, I am a funeral director in our church. So when D.O. McCombs brings the body back to the house, it's my duty to take it to the cemetery and have a proper burial and all that. Well, we had our first one, which was a 7-year-old girl. And I shared this with Jody and them when they come out to do the license plates. And the morning that I left my house until I got to Marvin F. Graber's house where the body was for the funeral, I had to wash my buggy before I could put her in my buggy. I thought it was that bad. Well, Jody and them, I think, ran the route that I did, and they agreed with me that I could at least come up here and talk to you guys. But we would be asking that we could possibly get 45 paved or chip and sealed from Allen County to DeKalb County. That's one of the main roads, and it would really be a big help if we could get some mud taken care of there, just on our part on that end. But and the other thing, and I'm going to let Victor Graber talk for a few minutes here as well. He's the bishop in our church, but the license plates, could we get them made to like a motorcycle size? It's what Allen County has. Not saying we have to do it in DeKalb. It's just our buggies are made like that for that size plate. They fit right in a special spot. It would be great to have it if we could downsize them a bit. I'm not so worried about that as getting 45 something done with that. That would be awesome. If, you know, like I say, a chip and seal. Just in the past 2 weeks, to run it by you, I broke 2 rods on my fenders just because of the rough roads. Thank you.
Okay, this will have to go through the highway department, superintendent of highway.
I thought he was going to be here. I thought he was going to be here, right? Wasn't he supposed to be here, Jody?
He doesn't.
10:15.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be here for all the appointments. I mean, we will relay this to him, and
Yeah.
it'll be between him and commissioners on the final decision. But he is aware. I did tell him when we left your house that you were wanting 45 and explain that whole situation to him.
Okay.
How many miles is that?
Well, from 68 to 46A, I think would be 3 miles.
3 miles.
If we went to 46A, but if you'd go all the way up to 8, I think you'd be looking at 4 miles. And like I say, that's the main road that connects us all with our people in Allen County yet. Like all my family is all down there. And it would be great to have at least one road running north and south that we could travel. But I'll let Victor say a few words if you guys don't mind. Thank you.
Sure.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm Victor Graber. I live at 5380 County Road 45, just north of 46A. And yeah, what Jesse shared with you is pretty much, I don't need to overhaul everything, but 45, it seems like there's a lot of traffic, work crews and stuff going back and forth from Allen County to DeKalb County, and they go on up to 8 and then into Hicksville and to Ohio. And the road gets pretty rough with the washboard, the potholes. It actually gets bad enough that the horse that I drive, he'll crank his head sideways and he'll try to not step into the holes. And of course, that puts our wheels right in it, and it's almost constant sometimes. A chip and seal would be nice, and I don't know what could be done to accomplish that. And when we hire drivers, my family all lives down by Graybill. During the summer, we drive a lot, sometimes in the winter. When the weather is real bad, we hire a driver, and the road is poor enough condition to them that they detour from 46A, they go over to 51 and through Spencerville to take me to Graybill. So it's kind of, they avoid it, and we try to avoid it if we can, but most of the time I leave except going to church on Sundays around our district there. I usually go at least to Graybill. So I have 4 miles down and 4 miles back. That's pretty rough. A chip and seal would be greatly appreciated. So
I have one. Well, go ahead. You got any comments, Mike?
No.
Todd, any comments?
No, we probably should take a look at it though, and look at that request and, drive the road and talk with Ben, and we need to get Ben involved for sure though.
Oh, yeah.
There has been an issue in the past with the carbide horseshoes causing damage to the hard surface roads. And of course, that's why we put in the buggy license. And so, yeah, we'll take a look at it. And at the very least, maybe we do more maintenance on that road if it does stay gravel. Do more maintenance on it, make sure it's kept up to what it should be. But yeah, we'll talk to Ben, we'll have a discussion, and we'll see what we can come up with.
all righty, that would help. Appreciate your time, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Okay, we got a little time. County Farm bid opening, we'll have to wait on that till 10:30, right?
Yep.
9:30.
Or 9:30, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump over then. Let's go backtrack to Plan Commission and Board of Health appointments. I'll kind of leave it up to you gentlemen. What are you thinking on the Plan Commission vacancy that was currently held by Mr. Yoder?
Jerry Yoder. I would nominate or move that we reappoint Jerry Yoder to the Plan Commission.
We have a second?
I'd like to second for discussion.
Okay. We have a motion and second discussion, commissioners? Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss maybe appointing Mr. Yoder and maybe having an alternate in place. Someone that can learn the position and get some diversity in there as an alternate.
Does the statute address that? Amber,
So I looked at the statute involving alternates for the Board of Zoning Appeals and also for the Plan Commission. And the statutes are actually worded differently. The BZA alternate statute indicates basically if you have a conflict of interest and you're unable to be on the BZA for something, you can appoint an alternate that is from your same qualifications as the person you're substituting for. The plan, and then it's also if you're not going to be at a meeting for some reason. It's a lot broader. For the Plan Commission, when Chris Galmer and I looked at it, the statute's pretty tight there that just says if you're conflicted out, which doesn't happen very much. It can happen if, for example, someone wants to put in a factory by your family farm, you'd be conflicted out because you're directly right next to this person, you're a neighbor, so you might have interest, or maybe it's a business that you partially own or something, you'd be conflicted out on voting on that. And then the alternate could come in. But the Plan Commission one does not look like it's a complete alternate if you're sick and not coming or anything like that. It looks like they worded the Plan Commission alternate statute a little differently. You could still appoint, an alternate, but they're not going to have the power to be there necessarily if Jerry or anybody else. And it's only for the person, you can only appoint one alternate per person on the board, basically, is how it appears to me. You can't do like a general alternate that would fill in for the county commissioner or fill in for county council person and then also fill in for the citizen member. It's a very limited alternate. It's not like a general fill-in person for the entire board.
That's disappointing.
It is, yeah.
In my mind, why not an alternate? Because
I don't know.
actually, there could be a situation coming up in maybe the next 6 months where I will have to not vote. I will have to opt out of voting on the Plan Commission. I've got a situation coming up.
Okay.
And so, it'd be nice to have an alternate. It'd be
If
nice
it's-
to have an
yeah.
alternate to replace anybody who's not there. The surveyor's generally not there.
Well, and I think the surveyor, there might have been a different statute involved for the surveyor because I
Surveyor
know
can
Michelle
send-
Latz that are substituted for a long time for the surveyor.
Yeah, the surveyor can send a designee.
Yeah.
Could,
That's the way
could,
I read the statute.
Yeah.
But
could
This is-
each member assign the same alternate?
Oh, so I believe the alternate has to have the same qualifications as the original person. So you're on it because you're a county commissioner. So your alternate would have to be Todd or Mike. Yeah. Yeah, so you could not just
citizen-
appoint a citizen
member
alternate.
would have to be a citizen member, whatever that.
Because you're only a member because you're a county commissioner elected official. Jerry Yoder's a member because he's appointed by you guys, but he's a citizen member. He's not a member because he's some elected official in another body.
It would also have to fit the party requirements, I believe.
The party requirements? Yes,
Not
I
more
would think
than-
so.
Not more than 2, I think is the requirement.
So, I mean, you can appoint an alternate for him, but it's not as useful as what you're wanting to make it. I'll see if I can maybe even locate that. I can look at that statute. Okay.
Is that a county ordinance or a state statute?
That's
State,
State statute, Todd. Let's see. Okay, so here's the actual language of the statute, if that's okay. It says, and this should be Indiana Code 36-7-4-223. A member of a plan commission or a legislative body is disqualified and may not participate, let's see, if they have a direct or indirect financial interest. Then it says, if they're biased or prejudiced or otherwise unable to be impartial. And then it allows for an alternate if they're disqualified under those terms, basically direct or indirect financial interest or otherwise unable to be impartial, which, that would be hard to define that one.
Yeah, that's pretty open for interpretation.
Right. But it's not just if someone's sick and can't come, they can call up the alternate and just have them fill in. Maybe that's something we could ask the legislature to change, but.
Yeah. Could we do an ordinance?
I don't know that you would, I don't think you'd want to do an ordinance that would try to overcome the specific rules of a statute. I mean, you have home rule and control over everything that's not specifically worded in a statute. If a vacant, let's see, the appointing authority may also appoint an alternate member who meets the same requirements as the disqualified member. So that's what we talked about. So that means, for you couldn't appoint just anybody off the street as an alternate for your position. It'd have to be Mike or Todd. And then it says, to participate in a hearing or decision if the regular member appointed by the appointing authority has a disqualification under section 223C, which is what I read to you over there. It's not if they're missing a meeting or going to be on vacation. It's only if they're disqualified because of not being impartial or having a financial interest. I don't see a way around that.
Would the commissioners appoint the citizen alternate? I assume?
What do you mean? Like you appoint the citizen member, but then you can also appoint a citizen alternate.
Yeah.
But the alternate can only take place if the citizen member.
Right.
If you appoint Jerry, they'd only be able to vote if Jerry had a financial interest or was disqualified by being impartial, not if he was sick or on vacation.
Now, there's nothing that would preclude them from going to the meetings and.
No, they can come to the
learning
meeting, yeah.
what the routines are and.
Yeah.
Right.
And all of that. I don't
You can
know-
talk to them about this and just say, hey, we're preparing you for this position in the future or another position that opens up, and we'd like you to, be a part of the meetings and see what goes on. I mean, you could do that.
I don't know that they would be paid for that or not.
I don't think you can pay them, no.
No.
But there's nothing that would preclude them from going and attending the meetings.
And appointing them as an alternate would give them a sense of having something official to do in case there was an issue. And also a feeling that, I mean, if you like what they did or their perspective on it, and something happened to Jerry, God, we hope it doesn't, obviously, but if he had to resign or got sick or something, then this person could be appointed for that position if you wanted to. So it'd be like a training position. It's just they wouldn't have very many opportunities to actually vote.
Okay. Any other comments? Comments from the public?
Andrew Provines, 3920, February 75. I just have a couple questions on that appointment code. So the Indiana code reads disqualifications. They would have a vote if a disqualification. Is there anything that specifically deals with if they're not at a meeting?
If you miss 3 meetings in a row, you can be kicked off.
Right, but as far as they just miss a meeting, does it say if this person misses a meeting, then something?
Not for the Plan Commission.
Okay. And so that's where, as I was reading the Indiana code, it seems like that would be a perfect scenario to exercise home rule. If they have not accounted for something, as in someone missing a meeting, you could do an ordinance, I would think, and say, we're going to claim home rule. This is unique to our county currently, and we would like someone to be able to vote. I understand where the person would only be able to vote within the confines of appointed citizen members. So like Pulver, Yoder, et cetera. But the qualifications, it says they have to match the qualifications of the person. And I'm not sure what all qualifications would preclude you from setting an alternate that could vote for any of those 4. The reason I say that, the qualifications for political party affiliation are not qualifications, you must be this party or you must be this party. It is, you must not have more than two from the same major political party. So in my thoughts, that would mean if let's say he's independent, it wouldn't matter either way. He could always take one of those positions. And the reason I'm up here asking this is because I get Yoder has a lot of experience, and Yoder's a good guy. I like Yoder. You don't want to lose that experience, but at the same time, let's get someone in there. Let's get someone active in the discussions. So every plan commission meeting, they have a say. They can say, I believe this, I believe that. What about this? Give more perspective, get them the experience that they need so that eventually they could take over that. We need to keep a constant pipeline of people involved in politics, people involved in the community, in order when someone does go away, God forbid, that we can fill those positions. So if someone's willing to step up from a community perspective, I think they should be encouraged. It's not, you don't want to say, hey, it's not your time yet, or hey, here in a few years. You want to say, hey, you want to get involved. Let's get you involved and get you active.
I think that's
It keeps
a good
somebody from
plan.
being involved. I just don't know that we can pay them and allow and do an ordinance that would let them vote.
I mean, it's, so I
That's
understand your
above my pay
argument,
grade,
that it's not prohibited. The concern from the standpoint of looking at it legally, if the commissioners wanted to do that, they're taking the risk that if there happens to be a lawsuit that comes from a vote, that the attorney on the other side could look and see if each of the members was properly appointed, and then could say, hey, this was not authorized by statute, and then it would have to be decided by a local judge, and then it could go up on appeal.
Do we take that risk every single time we ever do a local ordinance then? And claim home rule on anything? Because if so, then...
It depends on whether it supersedes state.
But this wouldn't supersede state, I wouldn't believe, because they haven't accounted for the scenario where a single person misses a meeting and their vote is just gone. Now, obviously, surveyor can appoint their own alternate, right? Commissioner, obviously, if you weren't at a meeting, Todd or Mike could take your position, but this is a citizen appointee, so I would think the state has not said, hey, if someone misses a meeting, here's the procedure, or here's what you have to do. It seems like the perfect case to say, let's claim home rule, let's make our own ordinance for this, and let's allow another citizen to claim that vote.
I have to agree. I mean, just very recently, we had a tie vote on the plan commission.
Right.
Because we had a member absent.
Absent, yeah.
And, and that could continue quite often, the way it looks. I don't see any solution to that other than having some kind of an alternate that can come in and cover those meetings.
So would that alternate be required to be at so many meetings as well? I mean, like, they couldn't just,
No, I don't think so.
they could not be at any meetings and then show
I
up
think,
at one meeting?
I think
and be able
Indiana
to
code
vote?
actually, I believe it was Indiana code, either that or it's Cass County does this, as well as Noble County has an alternate. A little bit different in the way they do it, but it was either one of those or Indiana code. I think it was Indiana code said they were supposed to be at 4, I believe. There's somewhere in there that the key number is they need to be at 4 meetings.
Prior to being able to vote, or just
No,
for
just throughout
the
the
year?
year. Throughout the year, they need to make 4 meetings. I would hope that anyone that commissioners appoint would want to be at all of those. I mean, if they're out there wanting to get involved, they're going to want to be there and have an open say. I mean, regardless
hope
of
so,
whether they have a
too.
vote, you would think that they'd want to say, here are my thoughts on it, or what they're worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope so too. I just wouldn't want it to be where
You appoint them and
they
they never
don't
show up.
go, and then the next meeting, like 5th meeting, they show up and that person happens to be gone and they get a vote on something that they weren't there for.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. I think that it's not like this appointment, there was like 20 people running for it.
Right.
So, one person, steps up and says, I want to be involved. I think they would be interested in wanting to be involved at all the meetings that they possibly could make, obviously.
Well, it sounds like legally today, we can appoint the current member back and then we can appoint an alternate, at least to the citizen position. Alternate to the citizen. Is that right? We can do that today
Yeah, I think
legally?
you could point the alternate to the citizen position. I understand the argument I think that Andrew's making. I'm looking at Indiana Code 36-7-4907, 36-7-4-907, which talks about the BZA, which is a related but different body, and it says, specifically uses the language, if you have the alternate can participate with the BZA in any hearing or decision if the regular member has a disqualification under 909, which is similar to the Plan Commission disqualification, I think, financial, or not being able to be impartial. But then it adds this language that the Plan Commission statute doesn't have, or is otherwise unavailable to participate in the hearing. I wish the Plan Commission statute had that, or otherwise unavailable to participate, and then we'd just be clearly, somebody's gone on vacation or out of state or something, and let that alternate vote.
So
But
if
once again, I mean, that's a scenario where if Indiana code has not specifically accounted for scenarios that happen in your county, you would think, once again, you could make an ordinance and claim home rule.
But I think we would need that ordinance in place first before they can appoint an alternate.
Or could you appoint, I mean, there's
Or
obviously no
appoint
rush,
based-
but could you appoint an alternate and then appoint the ability to vote through an ordinance later? I don't know.
I think we can go ahead and appoint an alternate
I think
today.
appointing an alternate
Yeah.
makes perfect sense to do that, and
I
then,
think we need to
Yeah.
have Andrew look at the legalities of this. 'Cause
and I could look at what
BZA is
other
a-
counties have done too. but-
BZA is a quasi judicial body versus Plan Commission, which is entirely different, so. I mean,
they're different.
The statutes apply to that differently.
And it might also, I mean, let's be honest here, it's an advisory plan commission. It's not like what they say is final. It has to go through the commissioners. So the commissioners have final vote on that. So once again, I think that if it comes to commissioners, if someone's missing and this is what either tips a vote one way or the other, it's still good to have a vote one way or the other, like the last time when it was 3-3 or 4-4, whatever it was. But to your point, Andrew, when you said that a lawsuit came in or something, my thought there would be, once again, it's an advisory board. It's a recommendation. It's not a final decision. So that lawsuit, I would think, would have to go to the commissioners for their final decision.
Sure, right. I mean, I think for the BZA, maybe then that would, the
BZA would
potential of a
definitely be
lawsuit-
different.
Yeah. I mean, I think didn't we get into a big BZA lawsuit with the airport at one point in time? And so, when you've got a huge amount of money being poured into lawsuits, they look at every little detail. But good point, the Plan Commission probably not as likely to end up in a major lawsuit like that. Excellent, good point. And I think if you said Noble County has it, I can kind of reach out to their county attorney perhaps and look at that, so.
All right,
At
thank
least
you.
And
at
Cass
this
also.
point, there's nothing that keeps an alternate that we appoint from going to all the meetings and
Right.
learning the ropes.
Right.
Which is, the basis for the idea anyway, so.
And then showing you gentlemen that they really want to be a part of it the next time when an opening comes up.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's keeping a pipeline of people that want to be involved, that want to take part in local government. So if someone's willing to step up, I would think, that's a done,
Okay.
get them
so
involved.
Help me out here, because I've listened to IC code and everything. So when you appoint the alternate citizen representative, they are or are not voting?
They are not.
Okay. Unless you do an ordinance later.
I mean, they can vote if the person is disqualified.
Yeah.
Currently, under the statute, they
under
can
the
vote if the
statute.
person's
Okay.
disqualified by
vote.
statute.
The
Which-
person they're
which
replacing
is
the citizen, yeah.
At this point, they can't vote if somebody just is absent for one meeting or something, but if a member is disqualified for some reason, they can vote.
Well, I
We'll
know,
dig into doing an ordinance different.
when they use the word disqualified, if they're not attending the meeting, doesn't that disqualify?
That's
I mean,
another thought. You could disqualify them at the beginning of the meeting if they miss.
Well, I think that, didn't it?
Well, I think that's a
I
stretch,
know that's
Andrew.
That might be a
splitting
stretch.
hairs.
So the problem is the legal interpretation, part of it, as I look at it, is, even though it's two separate statutes, one of the legal interpretation rules that courts use to interpret statutes is, if you mention something specifically, then it makes a difference if over here you don't. So it probably means that one way to look at it is, well, if they didn't mention it in the Plan Commission statute, then they probably didn't want it to be there because they were making everything else parallel. That may not be the case, but that's one of the interpretation methods and why, but I can dig into it deeper and see if there's a way around it.
Let's do that.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's,
Okay, so the regular appointment of Jerry Yoder,
yeah,
motion and second, and then we had discussion, so
we need to
that
vote.
vote,
We need to vote on that with the understanding that we're going to address the alternate then
well,
follow.
I have that next. Do you
Okay,
have a name for that person? We'll do that
Yes,
next, but I just want to get our vote before we
let's
forget.
get Jerry taken care of.
One at a time.
Okay,
One at a time, roll
so
call.
Todd,
Yes.
I
Mike,
believe there were other comments from
And
the
Bill.
public.
No. No other comments.
Can I ask a reason for why?
You're not on an agenda, and this is not an open hearing. It's not a public hearing.
You took comments from one individual, did you not? And I know
Yes.
myself and another gentleman who is even on the Plan Commission and is elected county official would also like to address the board. I understand it might be your decision, so I will let you make that decision.
That is my decision.
okay,
roll call.
Bill, you actually, I was to you when you said no, so were you saying yes?
It's a yes. It's a
Okay.
yes for Jerry Yoder.
Okay, so we have that one at least buttoned up for the normal appointment. But it's past 9:30, so we kind of need to do the
Oh, the bids.
bids.
Okay.
So we did not appoint him then?
Yes, we did.
We appointed Jerry. We've not done the
Okay.
alternate yet.
That's fine, okay.
We're going to do the farm bids.
Yeah, Jerry's it, and we'll come back to the alternate because I need to do the bids.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, we have some bids. And this is for the farm cash bid rental for the farm ground. Is that correct?
Is this for the ground or the barn?
This will be for the,
This is for the barn.
that one is?
Yeah, this is for the barn, $1,500 a year is the bid.
Okay, who was that?
Tom Portman. This is a cash bid for the county farm, the farm ground. Tom Keller bid is a bid of $220 an acre. And whatever the net acres would be, I think we have a rough number on that. Okay, we have a bid from Tim and Kip Griffin. That bid is for $225 an acre on the net tillable acres. So since we started with the farm building, the barns, and that does not include the pole barn, do we want to accept that bid or do we want to reject that bid? My thinking is that's really dirt cheap. And I'm not sure that we should accept a bid that is that low. I understand we can reject a bid and rebid it. What's your comments? What's your thoughts?
I think for that amount, we can use it ourselves, guys. I mean, there's gonna be times that highway or someone like that might wanna stick something in there. For $1,500, it'd be nice to have access. I think that's pretty low bid. I appreciate the bid, but I think we have better use for it at $1,500 a year.
I also have to include in that bid, I missed it here, he also bid on the land. Tom Fortman did. And that was $180 an acre. So he's low on that also. That kicks him out of the farmland scenario. So we go back to the barn bid. And you want to just rebid it? I think that's, yes, sir.
Yeah, my name's Tom Fortman.
Yeah, Tom.
If you had a price, I'd be willing to come up on that, on the barn,
Okay.
so on that bid. Whatever you guys think is fair.
What do you think,
I'm not
gentlemen?
sure, can we do that? I mean, we ask for bids, I'm not sure we can throw a price out, although he is the only bidder, so maybe we could.
Yeah, he is the only bidder.
For the barn.
Yeah, for the barn.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have to necessarily rebid that out or not. I
mean,
mean,
do you
I
want-
think you can reject it if it's too low, because you could, usually keep that kind of option, but
Can we accept a verbal bid?
that's probably a little iffy too from the standpoint of State Board of Accounts maybe too. I don't know, but
Since he's the only bidder, I would
Yeah.
think we could. If there's another bidder and he was not here, then
Well,
we could
yeah.
not do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
Yeah, usually at any auction, the high bidder, if it's rejected, the seller can make a counter and say, hey, you're high bidder, but we're not gonna sell it for that, here's what we'll do. I mean, this is kind of the same thing we're doing, we're opening bids and, I just wanna make sure if we reject the bid and offer him something else, we're not violating some state law or rule or something.
I don't think so. The number I had in mind was 3,000.
Okay. So if I paid 3,000, then would you accept it?
Would you gentlemen agree with
I'd be
that?
okay with that.
3,000,
I'd be
Tom?
good with 3,000, yeah.
I think it's
Is
getting
that
a lot
fair?
closer to what the value actually is, yeah.
Okay, we'll accept that.
So if
Okay,
we're,
Hold
if
this
we're on-
thought.
if we're on solid ground, Andrew,
Okay, I think we need to reject the low bid first,
yeah.
Need a motion to
vote on
reject
that.
that bid?
and then do a bid or an official vote on
Yeah,
the offering of the 3,000. Would you agree?
so I need a
I
motion.
think so. I mean, we're talking about a small enough amount of money
Yeah.
here. It's-
I move that we reject the bid on the buildings for $1,500 for Mr. Fortman.
Second? I'll second. Roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. Okay, entertain a motion to accept his bid of $3,000 on the farm building,
So moved.
Yeah, just the barn, right?
just the barn, not the pole barn.
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay,
Seen
motion
that
is
yet?
second.
Okay, wait, who motion? You guys.
Todd.
Okay.
Todd made the motion. I second.
Any other comments? Roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, so,
Farm ground.
okay.
Refreshing. We had a bid of 225 from Tim and Kip Griffin. And we have a bid of 220 from Thomas Lee Keller. Discuss, or motion
Sir.
for one or the other?
Bill, he was trying to get your attention.
Lance Ordway, 6,000 Kennard, 427 Auburn. I wasn't sure where to put the bid, and I thought it was kind of going to be open. I did bring one with me, but I mean, it's not in your hands now. Can I give that to you or not? I didn't know.
What's your name again?
Lance Ordway.
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 Yeah, the notice says that they will be accepted until 9:15 at the county auditor's office
Okay.
in my office. But
Yeah.
that's your guys' call.
I think legally it would be difficult to accept it. I mean, I feel bad for you, sir, but I feel like because of the notice being the way it is,
Yeah.
the rules on that are pretty clear.
One more thing, actually, we need a motion and a second to start this discussion. Right?
Yeah, for the cash rent.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Cash rent.
So I'll move that we accept the bid of $225 an acre from Tim and Kip Griffin.
Have a second?
How much and who, I'm sorry?
225 from Tim and Kip Griffin is the
And
motion.
that was the high bid.
That was a high bid.
I will second that.
Okay, motion is second. Additional comments? Commissioners, any comments? None? Comments from the public?
Tom Keller. We've always, or you guys had a policy that you would take bids and then you would open it up for oral bids here. And you, in your information that I read, you have that in writing. So we all submitted a bid, and like an auction, you should be able to bid more. And I think you should open this up now to anybody here that's qualified to bid or raise their bid. That's the way it's been done for a long time.
I know we'd done that. Is that the way it was? We did not discuss that. I don't remember discussing opening it back up, but the legal notice does not stipulate that, does it?
The legal notice says, and I think we just adopted the notice that had been used in prior years, and in prior years it said bidders may be present at the opening of the bids, and the commissioners reserve the right, doesn't necessarily, it says they reserve the right to reject any and all bids, or to open the bidding process to take additional oral or written bids from any who have submitted the sealed bids and are present for the bid opening. So, but I take that as if you want to do that, you can do that, which is similar to what this gentleman was saying.
Well, I got a suggestion then. Why don't we reject all bids and let Mr. Ordway bid next week also then? If we're gonna truly do an auction style, I would rather do it the way we've always done it. Say, hey, the bids were due at 9:15 and, bring your best then and not go back and forth. But I feel as though that if we're gonna do that style, Mr. Ordway should have a shot at this.
The problem with written bids, though, is that if you let someone submit a written bid, I mean, I know if it's going to be an auction style, that's one thing, but the written bid, if you let someone submit it later after everybody's said it, it allows them to change it or something. I'm not saying he would. Hopefully, he's an honest.
Todd, the language on it is to open it up, it's opening it up to those that already submitted a sealed bid to my office, not others.
Right. Here's what I'm saying though, is we obviously have some folks that want to bid more than what they sent in. We have another gentleman that wants to bid. If for the county's benefit, it sounds like people want to bid more, we ought to just reject all bids and do this again.
I kind of agree. Just reject all bids.
Well, you
And just
can,
open it up in 2 weeks for open bidding.
but I think you'd have to do a new notice, I would think.
Yeah.
The old notice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do notice.
Okay.
That they.
We'd have
that
to
they be-
renotice it.
That they come in and be present to bid orally. And forget the sealed bid. Just bring them in and have an open bid. And an auction type bid. Yes, Lynn, which,
Lynn Reinhardt, 4224 County Road 71 in Butler. I think Mr. Cruz reviewed what was actually contained in the legal notice. To me, it sounds, I don't understand why you would want to reject all bids rather than following the procedure that was in the bid process, just as the gentleman was informed that he didn't have his bid submitted to the auditor's office by 9:15, as was required. It also states that you can open the bidding up to those that have submitted bids.
Yeah.
So because of that reason, he would not be qualified to bid. The 3 bids that you do have could be qualified to bid, and it would make sense for looking at the county's interest, that if you have individuals willing or interested in raising those bids, that they be given that opportunity. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
I will yield to your astute observations.
I would say that your choice would be to, if you wanted to reject the bids but open the bidding process, to take oral bids from whoever had their bids submitted on time, which I think are the original 3. I think you'd be within your rights to do that, to accept oral bids today. If you wanted to allow Mr. Ordway to do it, I think you have to do a new notice, reject all bids, and then do a new notice and a new whole process here.
Well, here's my opinion on Mr. Ordway. It said 9:15. I'm not sure when he walked in the building. I know he didn't submit it to the auditor. However, he was present in this commissioner's court with his bid. So is that acceptable that the auditor's sitting here? He has his bid in his hand. I know he didn't mail it, but I just feel as though since people want to bid more money and we have potential other bidders that were ready to bid that maybe just didn't follow it perfectly to the T, I just feel that maybe rejecting all bids and bringing the best bids next week or 2 weeks would be the best idea for the county.
You want to withdraw your motion?
It was Mike's motion.
I'll withdraw the motion pending further discussion here.
Or your second? We need to withdraw the second.
I think if he withdraws his motion, I think it's
That's it.
withdrawn. I believe that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will accept a new motion.
I make a motion to reject all bids and send out a new notice for bids in 2 weeks.
Open bid.
Sealed bids to me or just in the meeting?
I like the idea of the sealed bids. Just bring your best, not go back and forth.
Sealed bids
To you.
submitted to me prior to the meeting? Like this one, or?
They could bring them prior, or I think they could bring them to commissioner's court. I don't like the idea of the bids having to come to you, and if they show up on time for the meeting, I think we ought to take their bid. I really do.
Well, I stamped them in, but, I mean, we do a lot of bids, so
That's been the bid process forever and
that's
ever.
gonna change a
I don't think
lot.
we want to mess with
Oh,
that.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
sealed
well,
bids,
then anybody's gonna say, well, you let them just come to the meeting for this one, so why can't we do it for the others?
That's true. That's a good point, Susan.
Now, if
So,
you want
sealed
to,
bids.
you want to specifically note in the notice that we'll accept verbal bids from those present at that time, that, I'm okay with that too. But I think we
Those-
need to be clear, because we keep going down these rabbit holes of, well, let's do this, let's do that, let's
Okay, so
let's get the
those,
process down.
those present that gave me a bid, or just anybody that's present?
That submitted a bid.
That's
Just like
submitted
it,
as sealed bid.
just like it says
First.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tom?
Okay, I want to argue about this. We're all here today, the ones that wanted to bid on it. You put a notice out in the paper, legal notice. We submitted our bids, and we've always come here, opened up the bids, and then you open it up if anybody else wanted to raise their bid. I think that it should be held today, right here. Let us bid right here openly. And then we can end this deal. I think doing it 2 weeks down the road or whatever you're thinking is not the way to go. We're here, we put our bids in, let us bid. Thank you.
It's a
Yeah.
point well taken,
Yeah.
Mr. Keller.
The
Cal,
only problem I have with that, guys, is that we've never done it that way before. We're changing the rules on the fly to let them bid afterwards, so I think you either reject them all or we accept the high bid, one of the two.
no, we have
Change the
done,
rules.
we have done it that way before, Todd.
We have.
Yeah, we opened it
We
up.
have?
Yeah,
That's always in the notice, but it's only to those that submitted per the notice
okay.
to me that I
Well, that's-
stamped in.
Okay, well, that's fair enough then, okay. I didn't
Callum.
realize that.
Yeah, Callan Dooley, 2128 Palace Court. I think that we should go ahead with bidding today. I don't have any say in any of this. I think I feel bad for the gentleman that was here. He didn't put the bid process in. I think educating him for the future. But the other gentlemen that are here, I think we should stick with the process because I think if we start changing the rules, it's going to create a magic rabbit hole that's going to be massive for everybody else to deal with going forward. Just my opinion, having no say at all if the farm.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, so did I ever have a second to Todd's motion to reject all the bids? Was there a second to that?
No, there was not a second.
Okay,
So,
so is that dying for the lack of a second, or is,
Sure,
Yes.
that's fine.
we're
oh
gonna
my
we're
gosh,
gonna
you
go
guys.
Let's go back to let's go back to Plan A.
Okay,
I'm thinking now that I've heard the comments,
I agree. So I will make a motion that we open the bids for oral bids from anyone who submitted a sealed bid.
okay.
Wait.
So,
reject the sealed, open for verbal?
yes.
Just to the people that
That
submitted.
submitted.
Yeah,
Bid on
we had,
Okay.
yeah, let's,
I'll second that.
okay, a motion and a second, comments? Roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen, it's open for open bid.
Tom Keller, I'll raise my bid to $235 an acre.
Yes, sir.
Tim Griffin, Tim and Kip Griffin. I'll raise the bid to 240.
How much was that? I'm sorry.
240
40.
240? Okay, thank you.
from Ken, 235 from Tom.
Tom Keller, I'll raise it to $250 an acre.
All done, Ken? Okay. All right. Tom Keller has submitted a bid of $250 an acre. Motion to approve, accept.
I'll move that we accept. Okay, I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Comments, commissioners, public? Roll call.
Todd,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
so
everyone.
hold that thought, because those, we have, I have some agreements that those that were awarded need to sign.
I'll have to say, we stumble around a little bit sometimes. We kind of hash things back and forth, but it's how you get there. Sometimes it just takes that to get to a good conclusion, and it is what it is. But we don't let any rock unturned, I feel like. We check everything, and we take opinions, and we go from there. Okay, what you got, Susan? Signatures? Okay. All right, we got 5 minutes. Let's just take a break, do the pledge. 4 minutes, actually. Take a break, Todd.
Gotcha.
Okay.
We're ready when you're ready.
All right, we are back in session, and Mr. Parker, what you got for us today?
Good morning, guys. I have the bid tabs from Community Crossings bid 2 weeks ago
Yes.
that I sent you guys. I also brought copies today for any of you who'd like to have a copy. I did bring that. After reviewing the bids and verifying the bonds, I even sent the bonds off to Mr. Cruz just for verification. Parent low bidder is API Construction for $1,523,568. So my recommendation would be to move forward with that bid and award to API Construction for 2024 Community Crossings Matching Grant, street paving.
Okay. I entertain a motion to that degree. Okay, motion and a second on the floor. Additional comments? Comments from the public? Roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Mike, Bill.
Yes.
Okay, with that, I have the owner contractor agreement. Here, this is for the president to sign, and then for Susan to attest. If Bill could sign that, left side, Bill, over here, and then Susan can sign. And then I also have the Form 96 that is actually for all three to sign.
Need a motion on this?
You shouldn't, you approved it.
You did approve it.
It's just, yeah, part of,
And if you could sign here, Mike, and then Bill underneath, that'd be great. And then when I get that contract completed, I will send all that to you, Susan. I've got to go to API and get that signed next.
I can sign.
Okay, what's next, Ben?
You get them back to me, I'll put them in my stack here. I don't want to get all my paperwork mixed.
Yeah. And you'll just email those to me?
Yes,
Thank you.
I will. Okay. Next, the County Road 56 project was bid January 18th. And I did send you guys the non-final results. I mean, that is the bid. That was the bids that was open. You can see at the top right corner, the engineer's estimate was $5,227,936.98. Brooks Construction was the low bidder at $5,097,966. And EMB was also a bidder at $5,326,562.48. So that is just about 2.5% under engineer's estimate.
Sounds like that can be an awardable project. The next steps that we'll probably see is the NDOT will be sending us a letter here real soon. Want to know if we're going to pursue. And they're going to make that recommendation, they're going to make that note in there that they're going to do their best to contribute the cost. I think they will. But my consensus is at this point, I think we wanted to continue with the project if they matched 80%. But when I get that concurrence from them, I will bring that to you guys. We'll probably have to have a meeting on it, and a motion and a second approval. But that is coming. And then my understanding is that the NDOT will pay the payments to the contractor, so our 20% would need to be paid to NDOT shortly after the award. So just so you guys are aware of that and how we're going to be funding, that we'll have that amount covered. I sent you guys an email with the rough cost,
Yeah.
what our match will be. That's granted if NDOT contributes to the 80%. It sounds like they will. They haven't denied any yet. But their protocol is to say if funds are available. I don't know if you guys have any questions on that for me at this point.
How much do we have in the kitty, Susan?
I haven't had time
What else you got, Ben?
Next thing I got is I got a quote. I got this Friday from Clyde Truck Equipment. I had another truck go down this last Thursday. It's a 2009 International. Truck's 15 years old. It's a decent truck yet. The bed is rotted on it. The bed frame split in two. The bed shifted and come down on the back. There's really not much sense in trying to repair that at this point. A couple years ago, we bought a new bed, if you remember, and we put it on an International. I went back to Clyde and got a bid for the same style bed. These trucks, the way they was built, they got to have the 10-inch long sills instead of standard 6. There's some modifications the way the International was built that Swenson's able to accommodate for us. And also, when we went and looked at the other beds, this was a nicer bed for what we use. And they're the stainless steel beds, so hopefully we don't get this rot that we've been experiencing on some of these older beds. That truck is a spare truck, but we need it and we use it. And I got a quote, this quote is for $37,000. That's for the bed and then them to install it. So I would like to entertain you guys' approval for me to pursue and purchasing that bed to replace it on our truck. That way we still have another spare truck. The nice thing with that, one reason that we're building the facility the shop will have that overhead crane. And then if this truck goes bad, we'll still have that bed that may go on another truck at some point. As we start working these Internationals out, I'm trying to switch over to tandems, but we still have a good many of the single axles that this bed would still work on.
Yeah. There's probably always going to be some singles.
Right, yeah. But,
Some-
we put that bed, we tried to put that bed up a little bit this morning and look at. The long sills are gone. The frame that sits on top of the truck frame is completely split and shifted. The rear hinge pins are shot. The cylinder's shot. I don't really think it's worth putting on it or putting that amount of money in it. A new single axle's anywhere, 220, 250,000. So a 37,000 bed to have us another truck, I don't think's
Makes
terrible
sense.
bad. And
Is that new hydraulics too, or
it will be a new hydraulic cylinder, yeah. No, the hydraulic pump and that will not
pump
be.
and everything's okay?
No,
Tank and all that's good?
we're gonna have to do a little bit of repair on the tank, I think, because when the bed come down, when the bed went up, it come down and it shifted and come down on the tank. I don't think it's leaking, it's not damaged, but we got some repairs to do. But this is for Clyde Truck Equipment for a Swenson dump bed package, the amount of $37,000. If you guys are okay with that, I would like to pursue there's a 4-month lead time on that. But, we need the spare trucks.
3% if you use your credit card.
I seen that. I don't think my credit card would cover that much.
Okay. Entertain a motion. You catch all that, Todd?
Yeah, I move that we, accept the bid for $37,000 to rebed the truck. I like your idea of a spare down the future, Ben.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second on the floor. Additional comments? Comments from the public? Roll call?
Todd?
Yes?
Mike?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ben, can I have that copy or get a copy?
If he signs that, I'd like to send that one in. I can send it to you as well.
Oh, that's fine.
Longer arms. Okay, Ben, what else you got?
The next thing I got is just a request. It'll involve the auditor as well, if you guys are on board with it, and if it will work for Susan. I talked briefly to you about it, been a while back, our CDL physicals for the highway department. Excuse me. Right now, we only cover Parkview Occupational Health and Dr. White, I believe, is the chiropractor. We're having a lot of issues with certain doctors on the CDL physicals. Some are decent, some's a little more lax, some's extremely strict. My drivers are getting hit with things they shouldn't be getting hit for. So here lately, a lot of them's been paying out of pocket to go by themselves to another doctor to get their physicals. It's non-reimbursable from the county. I know that we was paying, I believe, $109 for occupational health out here at DeKalb. I went to Cameron Occupational Health. I paid $89 out of pocket. I would like if the county would be willing to put a cap. The county will reimburse the employee up to $109 for the CDL physical, because that's what we pay out here. Anything over is on them. If it's under, then we both gain. Then we can submit a claim and just have the employee reimbursed for their physical, because they have to get the physicals by state law, federal law actually. And then they always bring us a copy of the physical. We submit it to the state. They brought a receipt. We could turn that in. I think it would be beneficial, because once they get dinged on certain things of their licenses, a lot of it is they're really pushing on the CPAP machines.
Yeah.
And that's getting hard. I know Amy Prosser said something to us. She called me. Their company's getting hit with that as well. And she's going to some other areas as well. I had 2 employees that just recently got hit. I don't see it. I don't understand it. One of them's 24 years old getting hit for it. So it's just a request, if you guys would be okay with that, and if the auditor's okay with that, I think it would be a great benefit.
I think, Mike, Todd?
Problem, Susan?
I agree with Ben.
I don't see why we can't. I mean, I
Makes sense.
would want to, I mean, I don't just want a note saying reimburse them. I would require,
They'd have to bring the receipt in of what they paid.
Yeah, what they paid. That's what-
I'd have to see what all it says. It can't just be, I mean, we need to know what it was for, like,
If we would have them have them type up a receipt for the CDL physical with the amount, employee's name on there.
I don't want it typed up. I want it from the place.
Right. Yeah, normally if they go to the occupational health, you'll get a printed receipt. It's not, she's referencing the chiropractor we went to was kind of a different situation. But
Gotta have a medical code and all that stuff, I'm sure, so shouldn't be.
Yeah, what we got from the chiropractor and stuff it's been a nightmare.
yeah, that's been,
So, like, I don't want something generic like that.
and I'll work with you on that to make sure we get that, what you need.
And this gives us more flexibility on reducing these costs.
It does.
Let's do it.
I'll make a motion that we reimburse Highway Department employees for their CDL physicals up to $109 with appropriate documentation.
A second?
Second.
I have motion second on the floor. Additional comments, and commissioners? Comments from public? All those in favor, or roll call?
Todd,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bill.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm sure they will too.
Yeah, I take care of the guys.
Right. That's all I had for you guys today, unless you had anything on the cost for the ceiling or anything at the highway that you wanted to bring up today. I'm still waiting on the final cost to get corrected and see if they come down on some of that price, and then they got to remove the sprinkler systems for that.
Yeah. We requested at their meeting last Thursday, I should say that if we negotiate this change order cost, to put that ceiling in and some framing, it come in, I thought, quite high. And my reasoning was it should have been in the plan to begin with. The ceiling should have been included in the plan, and it was not. And so we're going to end up paying a premium for it. That's what they're asking for, but we asked for some negotiation on that to bring that down to something a little more reasonable. See, there should have been, when it's a change order, it jacks the price up, or they jack the price
Always,
up on
yeah,
us.
always.
There wasn't that much involved here.
Yeah.
Not really. So we'll see.
That's the same copy I give you
Yeah.
last week. I just was showing Mike that way.
We'll see that, where that irons out, and hopefully they will,
I had it on my list here in case you had any
yeah.
questions or wanted to bring anything up. Again, this is on the soft cost for FCI to use, so I mean, it is Greg's control. I'm thankful that he's asking us and bringing it to us.
Yeah.
That's nice he does. But I will pass along when I hear something back.
Okay. Sounds good.
I did get the meeting set up for J&K, S&S, myself, Brad Newhouse, and the ones that's involved in the communication room to make sure we get the units placed where they need to be in our communication room. That is for the next Friday. That's when everybody was available. That was on one of the RFIs that I had that was submitted to me to take care of, so I'm working on that. Should have that soon. All the doors are up. We have doors at the new highway location. Took a little while, but manually, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are all in, all except for the wash bay door. That one was not there yet. So the doors are there for the pole barn.
Mm-hmm.
So
was
we
pole barn.
got doors and no barn. It's not, we went the other way. But it's,
That's better than the other way around.
right, right. Still a little concern on where we're going to be on when we're going to actually get occupancy and when. NIPSCO has got us in the queue, what they say in the queue for the transformer. They meet every week.
I'm expecting a call from them this afternoon. Dan
Great.
said she'd call me.
Great. So that is one thing we're waiting on. And then the transfer switch and things for the generator. The trouble with that, what they're telling us, is that until they hook us up to the three-phase, there's not enough power to supply the whole facility, that we would be short on power. And then they thought with the way they could, Weller proposed temporarily hooking it up, that the equipment we'd have to have has got a 14 to 16 week lead time. But they are still working on trying to come up with a cost-effective way to get us in there sooner. Right now, the transformer switch is scheduled for May 26th for delivery.
Transfer switch.
Transfer switch, yes. So worst-case scenario, it would be June. But they're working on trying to come up with some alternatives.
A lot of extension cords.
A lot of extension cords, yes. But he's telling me it would not supply the shop, it wouldn't supply the truck. He said there's just not enough power for the size of the facility. I'm not no engineer on the electrical side, but
We'd have to be very selective on what we turned on
Yeah.
at any one time.
Yeah.
We just have to, probably could make it work, but we'd have to really watch. We'd be blowing breakers left and right otherwise.
Put the coffee pot on a separate circuit.
right, right. So, but that's kind of the update right now, but things are progressing. The fuel tank was set last week. Mercer's got that set, but was pulled off from setting the pumps and things. There's such an ice pad out there. I guess a couple of them fell and just prevent any more damage. They got to work from ladders and things, so they was pulling off till
Is that this week they're coming back?
they was hoping to.
Put it warm up, maybe the ice, that ice off of there. Okay. What else you got, Ben?
That's all I have for you guys today. Other
Okay.
than if you got control of the weather, you can turn that freezing rain around. I don't want any of that.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll put in an order.
right,
I
right.
appreciate
I'll
that.
make that motion.
Make that motion.
Todd, can you send that up here from where it's warm, where you're at?
Yeah, right. I'd love to.
Not too much warmer,
Right?
yeah.
Oh,
Parts of Florida hit 36 Saturday morning,
Really?
yeah. Okay, anything else for Ben? Todd?
no, thanks, Ben.
No, thank
Right.
you.
Andrew?
Not for Ben, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
All right, thanks, guys.
Have a good day.
Yep, you do the same.
Well, Ben, do you want to address that County Road 45 Amish issue? What was the condition on that road and maybe why?
You know, from what my understanding was, when he had a funeral out there, our winters have been very mild and wet. And the ground didn't even freeze till we got this really cold snow in January. It's not uncommon for gravel roads to be soft. You know, nature of a gravel road, unfortunately. As far as complaints down there on that gravel road, I looked before I come up here and we haven't really gotten any. I mean, gravel roads naturally get a hole or so here or there. They naturally get some washboards. The guys work pretty diligently on keeping up with those and grading those. 45 is a road that was, some of that was converted before my time between 68 and 72. They ground that, pumped that full of calcium and then chip sealed over it. We've fought that road a lot, keeping up with that, keeping repairs up. We did a lot of deep patches on it. It's finally starting to settle out a little bit. The rest of that corridor, if we was to look at that, there's a lot of drainage on that 45 that I brought up before. It's not just area, it's that whole corridor. A lot of that is low through there. Not that it couldn't be done, it's just we would have to work towards it and do some drainage. Before we convert, we go through and we assess all the pipes, we change a lot of the pipes. Stone it, and see what the soil is out there. I didn't think, 45 does get quite a bit of traffic. It is a little bit of a cut through as that area develops more. It may be an area that we have to look at that. I mean, 51's over, that's paved up so far. They got 35 over, it's paved. I mean, there is options in through there to go north and south that are paved roads. You know, I'm looking at this year, we've got a lot of the projects kind of floating at the moment. Me and Mark was actually talking last week, concentrating on a lot of the gravel roads this year, instead of doing a large amount of chip seal, of graveling a lot of the gravel roads. That's something we haven't concentrated on in several years to try to get more material out there due to the move and some projects we've got committed. That is stuff we can pull on and off of. It's not exactly weather oriented that we can do that. I'm wanting to try to maybe do that this summer as well. And then we can look at some of that on 45 and maybe stone it a little bit more and helping. Because it's not going to do nothing but help us in the future anyway if we
Yeah,
do convert.
get some base in there.
Help establish it,
Yeah.
yes.
And then maybe look at next year after as far as chip and seal, possibly.
You know, it's going to, we can look at it. We'd have to.
I know
see
we get some complaints on it. We've had some complaints. And
I mean, as far as how we would improve it, I don't know, that may need a hot mat on. It just depends. You know, if there's a lot of buggy traffic on there, the chip seal, the chip seal is extremely thin. It's just oil with stone. As they chip them and get holes in them, that creates a hole and goes down and you start losing
Yeah.
substrate.
I brought that up to them also, that there was problems with the carbide shoes on that chip seal hard surface, so.
We did just convert one over there. I'm kind of monitoring that to see how it holds up and what it does. And we'll see. Because as the Amish population comes this way, there's going to be more buggy traffic. So we'll have to build accordingly
Yeah.
to make sure we don't lose our investment and do it right.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Let's pay some extra attention to it as far as building that base up. And that'll help with the freeze-thaw cycles that creates all this mud.
You know, that when we have, it's pretty wet through December there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was soup. And
And it froze and it thawed.
unfortunately, that's gravel roads in Indiana this time of year. So I feel bad, but that's what's out there.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Catch you later. On the Plan Commission appointment, let's jump back over to that appointment for an alternate for the citizen representation on that Plan Commission board. We have a name that has floated around, and Jared Malcolm. I would entertain a motion to appoint him to the Plan Commission as an alternate to the citizen members on that board.
I would go ahead and make that motion. I would ask Andrew to again summarize the conditions that he would be serving under as things are now, though, just for the record, please.
So for the record, my understanding of the statute and where we are currently is that he would be able to substitute for the appointed member, Jerry Yoder, when Jerry Yoder is in basically a conflict of interest type situation and not just out sick or on vacation. With the way that I'm reading the current statute now, it's possible that other counties are approaching that differently and don't have a problem with that. And I'm going to dig into that and look a little bit deeper and see if there's a legal argument to get around that situation. And if so, then it may be we need a different ordinance, and I can help draft that up for you commissioners. But currently, I think only if Jerry Yoder is out under a conflict of interest, then this alternate could vote. But of course, they can show up to meetings and learn the ropes.
Okay.
I can throw that out on the Indiana County Commissioners Forum
Yes.
too, and see if
you don't
anybody
mind,
else-
that'd be great. Yeah.
Be glad to do that.
Yeah.
Catch that, Todd?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a need for an ordinance since the state spells out the rules and we all agree that he wouldn't be voting or being paid and only could step in if there was a disqualification. I don't think we really need an ordinance on top of that, do we?
You don't need an ordinance for that. The only purpose of the ordinance would be if we ended up believing that it was legally allowed to have him participate more.
Yeah.
Then we would draft an ordinance to allow that. But you don't need an ordinance right now, currently.
Right.
Gotcha, thank you.
Second?
Second.
I'll second Mike's motion.
Okay, thank you. Additional comments?
One other question, Andrew. What was your opinion on whether, on the political party aspect of that?
So
Because we have,
is there a difference in political party between Jerry and Jared? Or do we know?
Well,
we don't know.
you can't have more than two of any one party. He is an independent.
So I guess I heard what Andrew Provines had initially said on that. And I think if you're an independent, then, I mean, I would think that'd be okay to have that, because it would not throw off the balance.
Right.
That would be my initial thought.
Well, it doesn't take us over the
It wouldn't take you to an.
two-party limit.
Right. I mean, you could make an argument that it should be for the same party, but I don't know that it, right now, I would lean on saying that independent would be okay, because it's not throwing the balance off.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
cover all the bases. I don't
Yes.
want to come up 2 weeks and say, oh,
Excellent
well, we
point.
have to undo this.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Comments from public? Is that mic on?
Lynn Reinhardt, 4224 County Road 71, Butler, Indiana. Plan Commission meetings are public meetings, so anyone can attend, whether they're a member, an alternate member, or just a member of the public. So anyone that has an interest in the workings of the Plan Commission and wants to learn about it for the future is permitted to attend it, whatever meetings they would so choose to. I'm not sure. In fact, I would doubt that an alternate could participate in any discussion at those meetings unless they were officially seated for that meeting, which I believe Mr. Provines had the opinion that the alternate would be allowed to be in the discussion in those meetings.
I mean, they could be in the public discussion, but they wouldn't be able, the alternate, unless Jerry was out for the purpose of being disqualified for some reason, then the alternate could participate and vote. But other than that, the alternate would be just like a member of the public, which I think is what you're saying, and I would agree with that.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
So I just wanted to
I think we're on the
clear
same
up
page
any
with that.
potential misunderstandings that there might be.
Yep.
Also, a couple other things. If you're going to do it for one member, doesn't it make sense to consider doing that for every member? As Mr. Cruz stated, you can't appoint one alternate that can serve for any member. And also, have you looked at the local ordinance or bylaws, whatever the DeKalb County Plan Commission has for guidance that way to see what direction that might contain? I know there was some confusion a couple years ago on appointing a new director for the office over there, and there was some confusion on who had that authority and when it was reviewed, and there was some differences found that the Plan Commission Board actually had that authority rather than another body. So I think it's always important that they make sure that you look at everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Mr. Prosser, or Mr. Andrew.
Andrew Provines, 3920 County Road 75. I actually have a question with Lynn mentioning the difference between voting and sitting there with discussion. I don't understand why someone who, if they're an appointed alternate, why they wouldn't be able to have the open discussions. I mean, I think the point is to get them experience, to get them, another voice out there, fresh opinions, not like they have a vote, but those ideas should come out during those meetings. Alicia Kaiser, is it Alicia Kaiser? Is that her name? I apologize. Sorry.
Rogers.
Rogers, sorry. She doesn't have a vote, but she still has the ability to have discussion.
He's an appointed member of the Plan Commission.
Well, technically, if he's an alternate, he would be an appointed member of the Plan Commission. You would think that he would have the ability to have discussion, not a vote currently, but discussion. I mean, you just said she's an appointed member. So would an alternate. So just things to think about. I mean, I think that's what should happen. If he doesn't have a vote, regardless, he should have a say as an appointed member, just like the other non-voting members have. That way he can say, my opinion on this, and they can say, those are good thoughts. Let's discuss that.
I think legally they would review it.
and not seated.
Mhm.
I think it's one of those situations where the way you'd like things to be and the way things are, according to statute, are just two different things.
I think it's definitely something that we should look into. I think the more voices in active discussion during these types of meetings can only benefit the public. Yep, the more discussion, the better. The more open thoughts flowing freely back and forth, the better.
Let's give Andrew a chance
Yeah.
to give the other counties and figure this out and kind of, we'll go ahead and do
Regardless
this
of,
appointment.
though, Andrew, there's nothing that's going to keep whoever the appointment ends up being from participating and putting ideas out. It's just a matter of how it's structured. I mean, if they can participate as part of the public, there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Let's move on with this.
Thank you.
We're up against the clock. And again, did we have a motion?
We have a motion and a
Yes.
second.
Okay, a motion and second. All right,
Ready for roll call?
roll call.
Okay. Todd?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Plan Commission's done. I think we're ready for Mark Byler, Lakeland Internet. What you got for us today, Mark?
Mark Byler, Lakeland Internet up in Angola. Just got a proposal for you guys to use some available ARPA funds to build out DeKalb County broadband internet. Send it through by.
No. It is now. We just need one.
Not a whole lot has changed since last time we talked. I've got a better understanding of some costing, and I basically just documented an actual request for ARPA funds. You know, we have a few options. We've got funding coming up, NLC Round 4, and then BEAD. With using the ARPA funds that you guys have got available and Lakeland Internet coming in to manage a share of that, we can potentially have a network deployed before some funds are even awarded coming from NLC Round 4 and BEAD. And for me, speed to deployment is very important. With the next gen fixed wireless and what the Toronto can do, I can cover an entire county for a fraction of the cost of what others are proposing. So my request would be for 1.6 million of the ARPA funds. Lakeland Internet would come in and cover just under $7 million of the remaining project. And we could start as soon as you guys give me the okay, or if there's an approval. We would build a timeline and a project with some checkpoints. We could also build in, some milestones there if we wanted to do something with the funding where as milestones come along, there's some funding giving to us. I'm open for discussion on all of that, but truthfully not sure how to formally request money. So, I kind of wrote up the document, and the PowerPoint is a little bit like what you guys have seen before. As we've continued engineering and finding the best case solution, that's updated. The proposal is for 10 site deployment, 10 towers. That could be a water tank or a couple new builds. I've got 9 of them identified. So there's one tower location that we're still willing to find and move around depending on the needs of the community and where it needs, and finding a landowner or organizations willing to work with us to put up a tower, we would do that, so.
Okay. Questions for Mark? Comments? Todd, you got anything?
I think it's best we all read the information and individually get with Mr. Byler and outline exactly how this works. You know, the 1.6 is a large amount of money, which is, I mean, we need to get this project going, but it's kind of hard to make a deal here in a, 38-minute time frame on countywide internet. So I think we need to individually to stay in open door laws, meet with Mr. Byler, review the information, and then have a detailed discussion at that point.
I agree.
I think what we need to do is talk a little bit about those pesky procurement statutes.
I'm looking at the public bidding statute, and it says if it's $150,000 for public work projects, is this something that would fit under a public works project where there'd have to be open bidding, I think is the question.
Yeah. If you do a direct contract and give 1.6 million of ARPA funds, you'll have every other internet provider in the northern part of the state here suing us. There has to be a bid process. There's just no other way around it.
Yeah.
Which is why the state process on NLC and BEAD and the process we've been working with for some time is in place.
So we have to make sure we're apples to apples in this bidding process.
Yeah,
Of
and you have to
course.
write a
Yeah.
request for an RFQ and
Right.
with all the specs and the whole bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And typically, isn't like an engineering firm or something hired to write the specs, or somebody's hired to write the specs that knows what they're doing, because all of us don't know the technology of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to comment on that if I could. I'm all for having this done correctly. However, Mr. Byler's taken the initiative for free to design this for us. We could look at his design instead of paying someone hundreds of thousands of dollars to, make us a 9,000 page engineering report. I would rather just get a 30,000 foot view from him saying, this is what we think will work. And then we should be able, as paid elected officials, to use our knowledge and say, hey, this makes sense. Let's tweak it this way. And then, like Mike said, put it then to bid with our specifications. I mean, this isn't rocket science, but it does require knowledge. And I think Mr. Byler has shown in Hamilton that he's a doer, not just a person that writes up specs. In other words, they have fiber in Hamilton now. They're using that backhaul from Butler to serve almost 9 miles out, if I remember right. And so they have the capability, they have the knowledge. That's why I'd like to see a detailed presentation of exactly where he thinks the towers need to be, and the projected cost that he thinks it might be, and then, like I said, put it out to bid. And I think he's been very open. He's told me many times, hey, if we don't get this, we don't get it. That's fine. I just want to see DeKalb with good internet.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of having an expert in the field tell us what we need, and instead, I just don't want to pay any more consultants. I'm tired of consulting fees and that kind of stuff.
The one thing you want to make sure is that, and I speak from the experience of my father talking to me about a lawsuit with and I'm not saying this would happen here, but if you have the person that is offering you the services or the equipment make up the specifications, the difficulty is then that someone could say later, hey, we couldn't meet that spec because they've got something only they could provide. So you just have to be careful with that. My dad was in a lawsuit for over 10 years, 2 jury trials over that sort of thing.
No, yeah, I'm not talking saying he writes up, hey, it has to be this equipment. I'm saying tower locations, what it's gonna cost to get it rented, or buy it, what it's gonna cost to construct, that kind of stuff. Give us an idea, and then let people bid. At least we know. But yeah, and as far as the hardware, that's a good point. It wouldn't be fair to say, well, it has to be this brand of hardware, and they're the only ones that have a contract.
Correct. That's the problem where that my dad had in that lawsuit he was involved in, so.
Sure, I agree with that.
Yeah, and I'm sold on the Toronto technology. I think it's great. And certainly, you know, you've been very interested. I've talked with Steve Yagi and Chuck Surak both about this project. In fact, you know, I was a little concerned about you coming in and telling everybody else in the provider network what your numbers were and then putting it out to bid. You know, I mean, there's a process that we legally have to go through.
Sure.
And in fact, mentioned to Steve, if his legal team could find you know, some other facts, you know, that was fine, but I don't see any, I can't find anything that lets us circumvent the statutes.
No.
I don't want to be clear. I wasn't trying to do that. I don't know how to do it. I'm just trying to continue a conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Good for the
You were
county.
upfront about that.
Yeah.
No, and that's fine, yeah.
But we got a starting point.
I mean, I know.
We got a
you know,
starting point.
I know Lakeland's a quality company, and I didn't mean to imply you were doing anything underhanded. I'm just, you know,
Sure.
it works the way it works.
Okay. So if I may ask then, what can I do to help in that process? Whether it's share the design plans, do we need to schedule some meetings or something? Just so we can keep it moving forward and at least get some progress for the county.
Probably share those design plans. Obviously, we're going to have to, in order to have, you know, equal opportunity for bidders.
Yeah.
And, yeah, if you would do that, and we'll go from there then.
Okay,
Now,
absolutely.
you applied for some of the NLC4
I did, yeah.
addresses and
Yeah,
so
yeah,
forth, didn't you?
absolutely did, yeah.
Okay. And I know the bead money is on the cusp of coming down, and that is statutorily required to fund any internet access for every single address in the county, so that anybody who wants it, you know, high-speed internet can sign up for it. That's specific to the bead monies.
Yep.
Okay. Just so we're all on the same page with that.
And I think we could use these numbers as more or less as an engineer's estimate.
Absolutely.
And maybe fulfill that part of the requirement.
Yeah, I'd like
It's a
to
I'd have
starting
to think
point. I
about that a
don't
little
know.
more.
I'd like to have a little more detailed
Yeah.
legal analysis, Andrew, of how the RFQ's got to be written and how that can be. And again, I don't want to go down some path here and find out that we're doing it wrong. You know. I mean,
Okay, I'll see if I can dig into that a little bit further and get
We're
some.
talking about the same amount of money we're putting in the highway department here, just about, you know, close to $10 million. So I would suggest that we don't get in a rush and make sure we're doing it the right way.
Oh, I
What would be
agree.
required for an RFQ on this, and I don't know without digging
Well,
into it a little bit.
Yeah, what does the statute say about developing the specifications for the RFQ and all of that?
Any other comments? Okay, yeah, if you could. Yes, sir.
Dave Holt, County Road 19, Waterloo. Talking about the bidding process and Todd talking about not needing consultant fees to reduce those. Lakeland can provide publicly all your performance specifications without the detail items. Say, we got to serve this many clients in this radiuses and put all that together on paper. They can provide you the budget numbers because you got to have budget numbers to bid against anyway. But you're probably going to have someone put the RFQ together, which would be a minimal cost because they're providing the narrative. The narrative is a performance specification, not a build set specification. Each company can tackle the performance any way they want with the equipment they want. You're just giving them a performance specification. We want to be able to do this. This is our budget for it. And then somebody has to put that RFQ together. Legally, can Lakeland put the RFQ together? That's the council side, legal counsel. But you would do a minimal bid packaging process with a design engineer because Lakeland's going to provide specifications for performance only. And that works out the cleanest, simplest way to get it out there to everybody. And Lakeland's budget numbers can be used as this is our budget. And you can verify, I don't know what the legal thing is in Indiana, but if you exceeded the budget by 10%, you had to go out to rebid anyway.
Right.
So that makes sure before you do the RFQ, you're satisfied with the budget numbers. But it should go fairly simple, but you will have to probably get someone to help you put the RFQ together unless legal counsel determines Lakeland can do that. Keep it simple.
Thanks. Thank you. So the question is the RFQ, basically. Everybody put that together.
I'll dig into that and
Okay,
work on getting the answers.
okay. All right. Are we all set there? Any other comments?
Thank you, Mark, for,
Yeah.
I know you put a lot of effort into this, and, you know, we've had several conversations about that. I appreciate your work on it.
Okay. Moving on. Tracy is not here yet.
You know, Rod Knox was here. There he is.
Oh,
Hi, Rod.
Good morning. My name's Rod Knox, representing DART. Tracy's ill, so I'm going to do the best I can to kind of go through the last quarter for you guys. You should have the documents in front of you for the last quarter.
That's yours.
Okay, reviewing the past quarter, we've hired 3 new drivers, and they've completed training and they've started work this week. We've been in compliance with the drug and alcohol testing, so we're no issues with that. We received our new transit in November. We're happy to have that. Of course, that makes travel a lot safer for our customers. We are selling a transit from 2014 as 157,000 miles. I think it's due to be sold. Price no less than $5,000. I'd like to invite you to attend our fundraiser on April 6th. It's Dueling Pianos Entertainment. It's a fundraiser for the DART as well as for the Hymex Center. You have in front of you the quarterly invoice to NDOT for the second quarter. Is there any questions over that? You can see the riderships or the passenger trips for the fourth quarter of 2023 was 3,883 passengers. And you have an overview of the trips from 2021 all the way through, of course, 2023. Any questions you'd like to address to me? If I don't have the answers, I'll find out for you.
Any questions? Rod?
I went through the report and pretty straightforward.
Well done.
So I just need a motion for Bill to sign the invoice for the fourth quarter for them to be able to submit.
I will make that motion.
I will second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor. Any additional comments, public or otherwise? Roll call?
Todd?
Yes.
Mike? Bill?
Yes. Okay, you're all set? Okay,
Okay,
you're all set.
we'll get you that original in 1 second here.
Thank you very much. Have a great
you.
day.
Thanks, Rod.
Okay, before we jump into the next agenda item, let's pick up some of these miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous.
Health board appointments. We want to go there today.
So we have the letter from the mayor's office submitting Jennifer Maxwell, an environmental specialist, Joe Roth, social worker, and Tanya Weaver, school superintendent, as the nominees for the Board of Health position.
Do I have any nomination or motion for appointment to the health board?
Move to appoint Tanya Weaver.
Tanya Weaver, superintendent, as the health board appointee.
Is that who you were going
Todd
to
was
say?
louder, so I'll second that.
Second that. We have a motion and a louder motion and a second for Tanya Weaver as health board rep. Comments? Comments from public?
Tanya will do a great job. I've worked with her on a lot of projects. She's
Yeah.
very capable.
Sound like she's going to retire, have some,
End of the year, yeah.
yeah, so,
Talk about some big shoes to fill.
okay. Roll call.
Todd,
Yes.
Mike, Bill.
Yes. Okay, VA office quote, and that's for painting?
Okay, so it looks like Rhonda in July had a quote done for painting in her area, the closet and the office walls, from Derek Weimer for $1,760. I didn't have it at budget time, so she doesn't have it in her budget. So I'm assuming she's asking if you guys will approve it and pay for it.
Previously, the departments have put these projects into their budget.
Yeah.
Most of them are quite a bit more than this one.
Yeah, I didn't know about it until the email that we got last week. Had I known about it when she got this quote, I would have been able to
Put that in.
include it with,
Yeah. So what do you think, commissioners? Pay it out of another one of our accounts, or?
Yeah, paid out of one of the maintenance accounts.
Shouldn't we, are we opening a can of worms? I mean, shouldn't they have these in their budget? If not, we're gonna get a bunch of requests, hey, we want ours painted too, and, or we've always stuck to having it in their budget before approving it. I don't know, are we getting into something we don't wanna get into?
Well, I think if we're moving toward more of a centralized maintenance program, like with Rick on board now and covering all these buildings, that trying to have department heads go out and get these quotes, and I mean, that's not a very productive use of their time, for sure. And certainly outside of their area of expertise. Maybe we ought to be looking at a maintenance budget to cover this kind of stuff and let the maintenance department handle it rather than put it on the department heads.
Right. Yeah, my only thought is Lita, when she wanted to paint her office, she had it in her budget, ready to go, and we approved it that.
Yeah.
But,
I
and
think-
I agree with you, the maintenance guy should handle all this from now on, we shouldn't be messing around.
I think that when something like this was brought prior, I believe that you guys told them to include it in their next budget request and just had them wait until the next cycle. The other thing I don't know is I don't know if I know there's issues with the roof in the health department. I don't know anything else about the building as to whether anything like this, if it got done, if it would get ruined or.
Right. Well, the roof.
Again, that's beyond me.
Emergency thing, Yeah, roof would be an
Correct.
emergency, I mean.
Correct.
it's leak.
I'm just saying, I don't know if there will be leaks at that end of the building ever, or if it's gonna happen. I don't know that logistics of that building to know whether you put money in to make it look nice and then something happen.
Make it look bad or,
Talking possibly getting rid of that building in the future, you know?
Yeah.
Do we want to throw more money in it? That's a question.
I'm going to suggest we push it off into the next budget and see what happens in the meantime. Either we fix a roof and make sure we don't have a problem painting and then have to repaint it, or if we move that building off our inventory.
I'm okay with that.
Okay with that, Todd?
I'm perfectly good with that. I think that's very, very smart.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, surveyor section corner ordinance.
Okay, so so last meeting, we read the ordinance on first reading. However, I was looking into something else and I came across an ordinance that you guys passed on section corners in 2023. And it's the exact same ordinance. So I asked about it and they didn't remember that this ordinance went through, this ordinance went through in 22. So what Andrew was involved, so what Andrew had suggested is, since it's the same thing, that for the minutes, that you guys could just note in the minutes and not pass the new ordinance on second and third readings because it was already done.
Yeah.
No need to pass a new ordinance that says basically the same thing that they wanted it to say.
Yeah.
So do they need to, can I just note that, or do they need to?
I think they should officially, the exact word for that, but.
Motion to not approve?
Motion to not approve it any further, or something like that, to drop it off your agenda items as old business and be done with it.
What's the old ordinance number?
The oldest?
Yeah, the one that we.
The one
passed
that from
previously.
2022.
I can tell you in a hot second. It is 2022-R-7.
So I will then move that we take no further action on what's 2023.
This one actually was 2024-0-1.
I'll move that we take no further action on ordinance 2024-0-1 due to the fact that it duplicates 2022-R-7.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second. Additional comments? Public? Roll call?
Todd?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes. That was easy.
That was easy.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay,
Finding that.
so we got that.
Okay, annual jail report.
So the next three, the jail, the Homeland Security, and the Public Defender, those all are their annual reports that we just have in, we put in with a motion that you guys acknowledge that you did receive these reports from those departments.
We do one motion for all three?
Go for it.
All right. I'll move that we acknowledge receipt of the annual jail report, the Homeland Security annual report, and the Public Defender annual report.
I will second, and I would like to have a little discussion on the jail part of it. If you don't.
Sure. What's happening?
I read the jail report. Brady pointed out that, it is having some plumbing problems and stuff, so he's reiterated the problems it has. However, we only spent $33,000 housing people outside. Noble County handled them at $37.50 a day. And we are keeping the jail numbers down to about 80, 85 if you look at the results. So I feel pretty good going forward that Brady's taken the initiative to keep things put together long enough for us to build this jail. And even if we spend $60,000 a year housing other inmates, the interest alone on building the new jail is going to be over $100,000 a month. So I think Brady's doing a good job of keeping it together, and just like to acknowledge that. So I think we can get this over the finish line, working fiscally responsibly.
Thank you, Todd.
And
Roll call.
I agree, we need to spend some money on maintenance to keep that
Yeah.
in operations. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on acknowledgement of those reports. Roll call?
Todd?
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Bill?
Yep. Okay, drug-free grant award claim for DeKalb Central approval.
Okay, so you guys had approved many others a couple meetings ago, but we didn't have all the documentation we needed for DeKalb Central. So we do now, DeKalb Central, we just have their claim for $1,300 that you guys normally motion and approve me to pay it.
Go ahead and make that motion, Mike.
Say that again.
So go ahead and make the motion.
You're making a motion to approve the auditor to pay
Pay
the
the claim.
drug-free grant claim for DeKalb Central Schools for $1,300.
Okay. Yes.
Got it.
Stated that way, I will make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional comments? Roll call?
Todd?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes. Threw me off.
I know, I go backwards.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's done. What do I have next? Okay, so then we have, the surveyor's office has a Polaris side-by-side vehicle, or not vehicle, but.
Side by side.
Yeah. And when it was originally registered, it apparently wasn't registered as a municipal vehicle. So they are getting a renewal fee. So I have in here a new registration so that we can change it to a municipal vehicle, so that we don't have the yearly fee. So I would like to have a motion that you guys will allow Bill to sign this application for the registration so I can send it in.
I'll make that motion that we allow surveyor to title the vehicle as a municipal vehicle, the side-by-side.
I will second.
A motion and a second. Any other comments, public or otherwise? Roll call.
Todd?
Yes.
Mike? Bill?
Yep. That's the bottom of your list, Susan.
Okay, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Let me look here. Okay, so the only other thing was what I kind of brought up this morning about Central Dispatch and their treadmill. They have a treadmill. It needed a new motor, and I saw the order come through for over $300, and I told him I had a hard time approving that, just with the knowledge of everything that's going on with the annex building and the possible gym memberships reimbursement and stuff like that. So I told him I needed to talk to you guys on what you wanted to do on that motor for their treadmill.
Has it already been ordered and delivered?
Yeah,
I don't think it's right to.
but it's Amazon. It's Amazon.
Oh, well, my opinion then is to send it back. I mean, you buy a nice used treadmill for, most people give them to you, let alone fix them. usually the most exercise people get with their treadmill is the day they haul it in the house and the day they haul it out. So
Portable
would,
clothes rack.
yeah, or make a clothes rack out of it. So I think we should send the motor back and get rid of the treadmill. And like I said, I think we need to push this gym membership, especially with, and I'm not pushing Planet Fitness here, I'm just saying Anytime Fitness, Planet Fitness, they have 24/7 hours, 363 days a year anyway. It just doesn't make sense for us to own exercise equipment on premise, in my opinion.
Well, and we don't have any idea what the rationale behind that was or anything. I mean, I know they sat at their desk for 12 hours at a crack, and maybe that was meant to get a little exercise on breaks or something. I don't know what the rationale was, but.
I don't either. I just know that it was.
I really don't have enough information
The prior director, I remember it being an issue when my predecessor was here, and yeah.
Okay.
I don't quite know where to go. Maybe
Yeah.
table this, have Brian come in. I had no treadmill. It stopped working. So I took all the electronics out of it, left the motor in it, and to manually walk on this thing and run the motor with my motion. That gives you some real exercise.
Yeah, that'll work out.
So I don't know if it needs a motor, but anyway.
My concern, one is it's a personal item. It's going to be viewed as a personal item. And I fully understand they're there 24/7. They can't leave because of the nature of their job. But how are you guys going to, besides just that, the nature of their job? What if we wanted a treadmill to use on our breaks and things like that?
Or highway, or the jail, or anyone.
Right. That's my hang up on it, so you guys get to decide.
Well, I think we need to clarify, it's a 24/7 operation, but nobody is there 24 hours. In other words, they have their 12-hour shift, 4 days a week, or whatever, with that flex schedule they have.
Yeah.
So they have 2 or 3 days off in a row that they can go to the gym, or after their 12-hour shift, go work out for an hour. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think we need to be into collecting exercise equipment as a county. I think that's a bad use of taxpayer money.
Okay, so I take it there's no motion to approve? Okay.
Thank you.
Enough information.
Here, Bill, just in that bottom box there,
You got a sign.
please.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next item on the agenda, the St. Joe ARPA Funds Water Replacement Project.
Daniel DeAdvisor from the Town of St. Joe Board Council. We had approached you guys December 18th in a meeting, letting you know that we are looking at a water project that's going to cost us an estimated $1.8 million, and gave you information for you to look over, seeking any ARPA funds that could be helpful for grant funding going towards the project at all. Our secretary is out ill at this time, and the president's not here, so we just wanted to follow up with you guys if you've come to a decision.
We have not yet. We're still waiting for some numbers to come in. We got some estimates on what we will be spending out of those ARPA funds. What have we got left in there, Susan?
Probably north of 7 million. I think if we sit down and take a look at that and look at some of the things that probably aren't going to happen, we could come up with some funds that we could go toward this.
So going into 2024, it's at 6,619,126.73.
What do you think, Todd? You want to, I'm thinking maybe we're going to run out of time today, but put this on front burner in 2 weeks and sit down, and I think we can use tentatively some of these numbers. I know there's some possibility of County Road 56. I want to look at that with some ARPA
Yeah, we've got to
funds.
make sure that's funded.
We got to make sure we got the money for that.
Now, the redevelopment commission also said that they might be able to chip in some more for County Road 56 too. So,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit better, firmer handle on this.
Okay. I appreciate it. I do know from our clerk treasurer that we are looking, I think it's April that we need to be able to submit this. So
Okay.
thank you for your time.
We'll have you an answer by April,
Okay.
for
No
sure.
problem. Thank you.
What was your name, sir?
Daniel.
Daniel?
David Heiser, DAVIDHIZAR.
DAVIDH.
IZAR.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You would put a list of the ARPA stuff in our packet, so we got a chance to look at it ahead of time and
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
up with some ideas.
Right, absolutely. Let's jump over into the truck and the van that Todd has looked into, has a proposal. Todd, you want to kind of walk us through this?
Yeah, I talked to Jeff there, our building inspector, and he'd really like to have a full-size truck. He think it'd be a little more durable. The Colorados of that year that he has are, with that 8-speed transmissions, are problematic. And it is, the only way to fix it correctly is to put a brand-new transmission in it, and the only brand-new transmission you're getting is from GM for $7,800. What I'm proposing, that Jeff, I think, is on board, is that 2021 Dodge. That's a full-size truck, 4x4, but it is also a very fuel-efficient truck and a very reliable platform. We've traded those in with 250,000 miles, still running well. The trade difference on that one was $9,500, no fees, no taxes, of course. And I believe Jeff test drove it and that he is accepting of it, but it's up to you guys. I want to stay completely, I'm just proposing this, I'm not voting. It's up to you.
Right.
But basically, you're moving up a year and down 40,000 miles and into a full-size truck instead of a small truck for $9,500.
My thoughts on this, Mike, is I'd want this to be unanimous if we approve this. If you feel like we need to go out and try to get some comparable quotes, which might be difficult.
Well, yeah, and that's, this is always, a kind of a quandary when an elected official is doing business with the county. And we had this situation a number of times with City of Auburn. I don't have a problem with it, given this amount of money and the fact that Todd's going to recuse himself. I think, in an ideal world, we'd have 2 or 3 bids, and he's low bid, and but I think realistically, finding other competitive bids is going to be pretty difficult anyway. We haven't had much luck with that. If it was $30,000-$40,000 or some larger amount, I'd have a little more hesitation, but I'm okay.
Well, if he was going for a new vehicle, obviously, we'd have to get
Well,
more
yeah,
quotes.
yeah.
But this is
Well,
used vehicle.
I also like to add that I only discounted the trade-in $2,000 from its value, even though I think it's going to be, what I'm hoping is I can put a used transmission in it and just take it to the auction and get my money back. That's all I'm trying to do. But if you could obviously take it to another dealer and not tell them that the transmission's bad and maybe get more money, but that wouldn't be right.
No,
So,
as a county.
but Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, if you look at the book values on both of them, I don't think I can't imagine anyone would sell one cheaper, but if you want to have bids, I'm all open for it. I have no problem with that. I'm just making suggestions here, okay?
Unless Andrew has some clear objection to moving ahead.
Well, obviously Todd can't vote on it.
Right.
And whatever just so long as you're going through the same process that you would for anything for this dollar value of whatever, $9,500. Just so long as you treat it the same way you would for any of them. I know, trying to think if for something little like this, you have to attempt to get a couple other bids. I
think it's 50,000.
50,000 where you have to do that.
Yeah. I entertain a motion.
I've moved that we go ahead and proceed with the
I will second.
Dodge truck.
I will second. Additional comments? Public? All those, roll call.
So just Mike and Bill.
Yes, Mike and Bill.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. Let's move on to the van for weights and measures. We have finally found a van. Todd found a van.
Yeah, and this one here, it's a 2021 with 37,000 miles, 4 brand new tires, no damage, it's nice. Comparatively, we looked at a 2021 Ford, Bill, you went and looked at it.
Yeah.
It was $41,000 with a few more miles than that. I think it had, what, 40,000 on it?
Yeah, 47 or something like that.
And this is the extended 3/4 ton, and it's also front-wheel drive, which I think would be beneficial to the county to have in the winter. It's $7,000 less than the last one you looked at, and it's 100% comparative. So if the county don't want it, it's down here in Florida. I was going to drive it home. If not, I have it sold down here. So it don't matter to me either way. If the county wants it, great. If not, I have it sold here. So there's no, again, I'll stay out of it. I'm just trying to save the county some money.
We don't have a quote. Patrick did inform me that would have to have a bulkhead in it, and it'd need a trailer hitch. Pull that prover, that portable prover. I don't know what, you probably got an idea of the trailer hitch, Todd, what that would cost?
For the county, I'll just do it for free. How's that?
Oh, I like that price. I have no idea on the bulkhead, and the bulkhead is just a
Oh,
steel.
yeah, I won't.
Yeah, bulkhead is a steel partition between the
Yeah.
passenger area and the van area itself, because it's contain a prover that will have gas fumes, I assume, involved. He won't be hauling gas, but it will have gas fumes in it. It will be ventilated, but has to have the bulkhead.
Yeah.
There's a company in Huntertown, I understand, that does that. So, and there's a good chance, whatever van we buy, we may have to put a bulkhead in it.
Well, yeah.
Okay, what are you saying? A what cap?
Bulkhead.
Bulkhead. B-U-L-K.
Bulkhead.
Bulkhead.
Okay,
It's that partition.
okay.
We're
Partition.
building a battleship.
I just wanted to, we all got like ball cap, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, we're on board now.
Okay. And did Todd vote on this?
No.
No.
No, I don't want to vote.
Okay.
So now we're up in a little bit,
What dollar amount are you at here?
34.5.
34.5.
What's the bulkhead?
What's the bulkhead cost?
I would say a maximum of 1,000.
That's getting into a dollar amount. I would feel more comfortable if you got some bids
yeah.
on that, just with the dollar amount you're talking
If
about.
you can find them.
Yeah, if you can't find them and it's under 50,000, I think if you can't find them and it's under 50, you're
That's-
okay to
yeah.
go forward.
And
But we
I
should
had-
look, but you're required to look, I think.
I had found one,
Okay, you found one?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Michigan,
that
it was-
41,000
Yes.
Ford.
Yes.
And how much was it? And it wasn't what you needed, I guess. It wasn't as good as the,
Well, no, it would have worked. We just thought the money was too high.
it was too high. Okay, all right.
You have one, we can look for another one.
Do we have a quote on that we can include with this? Did we get a written quote on it?
I got it, yeah,
Okay. all
I
right,
got it.
all right,
And I did drive it.
yeah,
Okay.
Patrick also, oh, I take that back. Patrick drove it.
okay.
We went together and he drove it.
As long as we got something in writing to put with it,
Yeah.
I think we're good.
That you attempted to find and all you found was one comparable one and, yeah.
At
And it
this
was more
point.
expensive.
Do you think we need a third, or you think we're on solid ground?
So, I mean, I think the third is what's required unless you can't find a third. I mean, I think there's an exception in the statute for that.
Todd could orally address, you did bid, or you did bid on some other vans, did you not?
I tried to buy some earlier. They brought, that bill that, if you remember, I was looking at one with 3,000 miles. It was a 2022 and it brought 44,000, so I thought that was too much. And then another one we missed on brought right at 40,000. We just happened to get a great deal on this one. And like I said, if the county will want it, the contractor down here that's working on my house can use it. So I don't care who gets it. If the county wants it, great. If you need to get bids, I don't want any problem. So I'm happy to, whatever you guys decide, but it is $7,000 cheaper. And I think it's a superior vehicle to the Ford, being front wheel drive. That's my opinion.
I would advise you to get one more, attempt to find one more bid, and then if that's, if you can't find one that does any better, then go ahead and do this.
I'll be looking,
The only
Todd.
thing I'd like to say there, and this is fine, get your bid. I might have to find you a different one, and here's the reason being, or
Right.
maybe I'll find one that will stock. I really don't want to drive this one home this weekend when I can have it sold here, because I'm just getting my money back. I don't care either way. And so that's the only thing I'm concerned about. I really don't want to bring it back unless, and again, maybe that's best. Maybe we just find one somewhere else possibly. Might be better.
Can they do a consensus vote to move forward if they can't get another quote? When are you coming home?
Saturday.
So if they can't get another quote by the end of this week, can they do a consensus so Todd knows what to do and then our guys know?
Well, I mean, that would be what I would be saying they could do it in the future is if they can't find another one, go with this one. So, but the problem is they wouldn't be making that decision in an open meeting with an open discussion. So I don't know how they would
I know, but
know
could
that
they
it
do
doesn't
a,
meet the.
could they do a
standard.
vote, do a motion that they agree to purchase the ProMaster, whatever, if a third quote is not lower or able to be found by January 26th?
I mean, I guess if they want to do it that way,
Well, that way Todd could drive it home and we
Right.
could vote on at the next meeting to accept,
To officially accept it.
officially
Officially
accept
accept it.
that van.
okay,
Yeah,
I would go along with that.
okay.
So
But you
we
need
have-
to document that you're looking for another
Right, yeah.
option.
All right, so we have a consensus then that
Yeah.
we'll try to get another bid by the end of the week, and Todd can drive that, Todd can drive that home, and we'll make an official decision
Yeah.
when we have all the information.
I'd rather fly home.
Yeah.
But, and like I said, if you find a better deal, go for it.
I don't think we
completely just
will,
want the
but-
best deal for the county.
That's not gonna
And I'm not saying that they want a better deal necessarily, I'm just saying we want to make sure we're following the statute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying.
Okay,
No, I agree, but I want the best deal for the county, period. So whatever's the best deal for the county is what I want to see happen.
bring it on home and We'll look
Okay,
and,
well,
Best
if
deal for
something happens, but I'll plan on bringing it, but if not, I mean,
Yep.
like I said, if you find a better deal, go ahead and jump on it, okay?
okay.
Okay, so are we doing a motion that that we will purchase that if another bid cannot be sought or received by January 26th? And the consensus is to formally, officially approve the purchase at the next meeting?
That's correct, I believe.
You comfortable with that, Andrew?
Well, I mean, that's what your consensus is, and you're not, I mean, obviously, you're planning on doing that. I think that if Todd's comfortable driving it back with that consensus, then probably all you need is a consensus.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think we need a motion.
Yeah, you're probably right, just consensus.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on board. I am,
But what she said.
yeah. Drive it home.
Then just vote. I already had it written.
Okay, moving on, insurance trustees. You are up. That's fine, sure.
Good morning, Kyle. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, thanks for having us. All right. We have been working behind the scenes here for quite a while for the county renewal. We normally start, roughly 120 days out from the renewal to start talking with carriers. The current insurance market is very difficult for all classes of business, but in particular, public entities, municipalities, it's even more difficult. Just a small pool of carriers that are willing to work with that. So we want to provide just some general updates, in particular, give some feedback that Liberty Mutual has communicated to us for the renewal, who's the current carrier on it. Some changes that they are going to mandate for the renewal, and then some of the solutions or options we're trying to do behind the scenes to, find the appropriate coverage. So Liberty Mutual sent us a notice right around the first of the year, and they have indicated that they are not going to extend coverage for the county home anymore. They're going to carve that coverage out for the renewal, which is a sizable change in what they're offering. What I can tell you is all the other carriers that we work with, they were not willing to insure the county home to begin with. So Liberty Mutual was kind of that last carrier out there that was willing to do it. So it was, I don't say it was a matter of time, but we're here. So what that's done is once we got that notice, we got in touch with Susan Sleeper and we wore her out maybe a little bit with some applications and things, right? But we hit the ground as fast as we could to get other options, right? And we were already working on options before that. But specifically for the county home, we had to get applications done and send to some specialty markets, which at the end of the day is likely just going to make that premium increased. So what Liberty's also told us, they've indicated that we're probably looking at a 15 to 18% increase on the renewal for the package as a whole. And they're standing pretty firm on that. That's in line with the rest of the market. If, there's other carriers, Travelers being one of them, another by the name of Trident, that we are working with right now for alternative quotes for you guys. And when we speak with their underwriters, that's the same numbers they're talking about at renewal right now is 15 to 20% increases. So I don't think Liberty's out of line there, but it makes it difficult, and there's a lot of negotiating that goes on behind the scenes for us. So we just wanted to give you guys like a fair update for what the renewal is looking like and what we're working on for you guys. Mike, do you have anything to add as far as the marketplace or anything along those lines?
Well, a couple of things, I was thinking about is, if you recall last year, we came in and we were concerned about what we were going to be able to get with your renewal. And we thought it would probably be 10 to 15 or maybe even 20% last year. And, Kyle and the team, they did a great job of trying to combat that. And fortunately, I think we only got a 2% increase last year, maybe even 1.5 net last year, which was frankly, from my perspective, it was a minor miracle knowing what I know. And so they did a great job. But there's going to be, at some point in time, your gunpowder goes dry and you just don't have any left. And I think this is the year that's probably could occur or probably will occur. I think we still have some things that we can negotiate and will negotiate on your behalf. But historically, and I think I've shared with you, our industry goes in cycles, and if you have a bell curve, and I think I believe I've shared that with you in the past as well. When the market is soft, prices are low, and everybody wants to insure you. But when the market is hard, prices are high, and coverage is hard to find, and that's where we're at today. I was thinking about it on the way over here today, and probably if we spin the clock back 10 or 12 years, our premium then was probably $350,000, $365,000 10 or 12 years ago. And over a period of years, we were able to negotiate with other carriers, and we got our premium under $300,000. But that's when, again, that $350,000, $360,000, that was when prices were high, or the market was hard at that time. And so we're entering that cycle at this point where it's going to happen again. At some point, we're going to pay higher than what we would like to. Now, the good thing about that, from a lot of things, if we spend the clock back 10 or 12 years ago, or even 4 or 5 years ago, how much was your revenue? I don't know what our revenue today is. What is our annual budget for the county, our annual revenue?
Well, the budget's 67.
Yeah.
How much is that? No, I mean, how much is, let me say, what is the total revenue for the county?
For like a year?
Yeah.
He just said that. How much money went through? A lot.
I can tell you in a minute.
In the report last
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
So if you spin the clock back, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was a fraction of what it is today, because your revenues increase. And the good thing is, and again, these guys have worked hard and helped us to keep our costs as from a percentage of total revenue. They've done a really good job with that. I think this is the year that it's going to probably be more effective. I think we'll probably be in a market like this for a couple of years. The good thing about it is we represent every market that writes municipalities. So there's not a market that writes this type of coverage that we haven't approached. And we do approach on an annual basis to make sure that we're getting the best value. We live here, we work here, and you guys are more than a little bit important to us. So I think that, again, with that, knowing what's happened historically, and where we're at today, honestly, if you just took, inflation over the last 15 years, the premium should be higher than it is. But it's not. And again, it's part of the hard work that these guys have done on our behalf.
Yeah, and I'd second, with our affiliation with the Hill Group, we have the opportunity to still be local and be insurance trustees and work with you guys, just like we always have. What they've been able to do is give us access to all the markets that we need, which has been a huge benefit to us, and then in turn a benefit for you guys. So, go ahead.
What's our renewal date again?
February 26th is the renewal date.
So realistically, what does the specialty market look like for Sunny Meadows? I mean, can we secure any coverage? I know the specialty markets are really in a turmoil.
Yeah, they are. We do have multiple companies we're working with. We don't have a firm quote yet, but that have said they will extend a quote for us. So that is a positive. What that does, though, is it just adds more premium to the overall spend for you guys by doing that.
Yeah, I was more concerned about running out of coverage on the 26th and not having any direction to move.
Yeah.
And I think we still have a couple companies besides Liberty that we're working with to see how they can come in from a competitive standpoint. So, we haven't exhausted all of the things that we're trying to do and are on your behalf. But the worst thing that can happen for us is if we were to come in here, on sometime in February and say, oh, guess what, guys? This is where it's at.
Yeah.
So we wanted to give you as much of a heads up. And the hard part of our business is it changes. Underwriters make a decision. In a perfect world, I wish they'd have to give you to make the kind of decision to not insure Sunny Meadows. I wish the the state of Indiana only requires them 45 days. I wish it was 180 days, you know, because that's, to me, it's not fair to a customer. It's never been fair to a customer in my mind to get 45 days. But the state of Indiana allows insurance carriers to do that, and they take advantage of that.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, so just to piggyback what Mike said, you know, Liberty's on it now. We're finding the specialty market for Sunny Meadows. We do have 2 other carriers, Travelers and Trident, that are actively quoting the rest of the package. So we're hoping that those competitive quotes may alleviate some of that price increase to offset some of that. We just aren't far enough along in the ballgame yet to know that. We're working on it currently. So like Mike said, we just want to get out ahead of this with you guys and have an honest conversation with what we're doing, what Liberty's telling us, maybe some expectations for the renewal.
and again, I think we've approached every market that.
Every market under the sun that has the opportunity to insure you guys we're talking to. So you need to rest assured on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Any questions you have of us on that?
no question.
No questions.
Okay.
We'll keep plugging away at it.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep working on it. Rest assured on that, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate your hard work, guys.
Hey, absolutely.
Okay. Medard's not here yet, is he?
What is the quote for Medard's? I know it's a water supplement, but what building, or is it all our buildings, or?
It's for all the administration part, the restrooms, the break room, offices. Yeah, it wouldn't include the shop or, of course, the wash bay.
Okay,
Yeah,
for highway.
yeah, for highway. He's gonna give us a quote, and that's gonna be outside of the project. And so I talked to, Pranger Enterprise. They're gonna give us a quote on installing it. They think they can save us some money. And since it's outside the project, they can do an independent quote on that, a separate quote.
Yeah.
And so that'll give us 2 quotes on the softener. And we'll see where we're at.
Pretty small amount. We could probably pull that out of the contingency fee anyway.
Mm-hmm.
For the
Yeah.
contingency bank, so.
Okay.
Medard's are good people. They're well respected in town,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Framers are too, so
Yeah.
either one would be great.
We just
Medard's
see where we're
always
at
been
and go for
Good
it.
people.
On this liability insurance, are we required to get more than 1 quote, 1 bid? I would think we would be.
Well, we haven't come up into this before. What has been the past history of the county on that?
We've just renewed on the liability side.
You know, insurance is a different animal too. I mean, a lot of times to get a quote, you gotta name the person as your agent to get the quote. And I think it's a horrible way our insurance industry's run, but those are the rules, like we discussed earlier, you know. We may not like the rules, but that's how it works. So, yeah, it's a tough thing, because what are we looking at the quote would be? They didn't give us an idea. They told us a percentage raise, but is there a statute that says that we have to get a quote over a certain amount for insurance?
No.
That I'm not aware of. I will research that as well. I don't think you guys have in the past done that.
No, we haven't.
Not done that.
I don't think that there's not a requirement.
Yeah.
I do know that Insurance Trustees has been our insurer for what, 40 years?
And they go out and get quotes from multiple companies.
Right.
Yes, correct. That's what they do, right? But the last time, because when we quoted health insurance, I know we had to name them when they quoted it. For Anthem, we had to name them as our insured agent of record in order to get a quote.
Right, because they needed the info.
Yeah, they can't get the information
Yeah.
without being an agent of record.
We've got another local agent that wants to give us a quote. And I don't know in good conscience how we can not accept that, or entertain that second quote. I mean, you know,
I don't see any reason not to have a quote. I mean, it doesn't have very much time to put a quote together. With a renewal date of February 26th, it's only 30 days. I mean, obviously, well, just a couple of things. He'll be quoting the same companies that insurance trustees is, because there are a limited number of companies that write municipal insurance. So it'll be the same companies. He's going to run into the same problems with coverage. But, you know, maybe they take less agency on the agency side or whatever. I don't.
well, that's the thing, and I know it's the same companies, but different sub-companies have different deals with these main companies. And when they say, well, the quote's going to be the same, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
So I think we should get another quote. That's my opinion.
I don't think it hurts to do another quote. I love insurance trustees. Mike Shirt's very honest, but this is taxpayer money, and it's a lot of money. I mean, aren't we talking, isn't this policy in the $150,000, $200,000 range? I can't remember.
$500,000.
Oh, is it at $500,000? Yeah,
$500,000.
that's,
No.
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm just thinking of
$300,000.
liability,
I believe.
work comp was 150. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think
What is
those together, I think just the liability part of it right now is under the 300,000, but when you put it all together, it's the
Right.
Right.
$500,000.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
And that's
Yeah.
not, we're not talking the 15% increase
Right.
Right,
on top of that.
yeah.
Go for it. With the consensus?
Yeah, if Tim wants to quote it,
Okay,
I don't.
I think that's smart, yeah.
okay. I will give him a call. All right. Merit Water,
We do,
come on up to the podium here. Make sure that blue light's on that microphone. Then state your name and address. And
Yeah, my name is Ron Mettert, and I'm representing Mettert's Water Care. The job was to take, I don't know if I want to call it the old Henderson property, but anyway, we're supposed to soften the water in the building. And a little confused, definitely could do, the front part of the offices and stuff like that with the quote that I have here. But I was concerned about in the back, quite a ways back, there's another like 125 or 130 gallon water heater back there that this proposal wouldn't address. Let's say two. Look, can I bring one of these forward so you guys can see it? Because
We
I don't
have
think
them.
you got
Yep.
it? Okay. Okay, the one we're talking about is the single tank C43. That would cover the restrooms, the kitchen, the whole part where most of the employees are. The lower one I was looking at was the water right C43 twin tank. In the event they wanted to soften the water for that back heater, I don't know if they're going to power wash trucks or whatever and stuff, but I hate to see hard water going into that tank, because it's going to cause a scale and build up and some stuff down the road. But I don't think it's plumbed that way, right now, even though the plumber's still at it. There's like I say, the distance involved, and there's going to spray floors and stuff with cold water, and they didn't see any point in softening that. So it's kind of convoluted a little bit. What questions might you have for me?
well, and I'm a bit confused, I'll have to admit, on the second water heater.
Okay.
I'm not sure why it's back there. Because the power washer that they use in the wash bay is a self-heating unit. It heats
Okay.
its own water, according to Ben. It's got a gas burner in it, and it heats water as it goes through.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the second water heater is about. We've seen it sitting back here, and Ben doesn't know what it's for, and neither do I.
Yeah.
I think we assume that it's not going to be included.
Okay.
We'd have to run a separate line back there. Well, we wouldn't have to run a separate line, we'd have to run a line.
I guess at some point, if it become, was that a gas heater back there or was it electric?
Gas.
Gas? Yeah, there's no change in elements. When those scale up, they're scaled
We're
up.
done.
So you could actually, if it became a problem or liability, put a softener back there. Just a small one to, take care of the need. It'd probably cost about, just talking out of hand, about $1,600 to $1,800 to put one back there and just protect that one heater. But I'm really confident that first number you see, that 3,090, would cover, everything we was trying to do there.
In the front, yeah.
In the front.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's probably is all it's going to take also. I'm not even sure they didn't double order that second water heater.
It could be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been some
But
some
we
things
checked,
happen out there, so.
there's no significant employees at the location, for 24 hours a day. So, got plenty of downtime to cycle the softener on a single tank system.
Yeah.
That's when you get into the twin tanks, if for some reason they're running second shifts or, and then an inordinate amount of water and it's inconsistent or something, then, but yeah, I think we can, our best deal is that
Yeah.
water right C43.
I do have another quote coming
Okay.
for that water heater, or that softener, so we will not act on it today. I'll have to get that second quote
Oh, that's fine.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Appreciate you bringing this to us and
Okay.
the time you spent. And,
All righty. Well, you fellows have a good day.
okay.
What, don't you have a break for lunch even?
No, we just go on till midnight.
No, go on to bed. All right.
No.
We'll see you later.
Till midnight,
about-
you're
we're
on
about-
your own.
Yeah. We're about done, actually. Okay. My list is all scratched out. It's checked off.
Mine's done.
Mike, Todd, anything else?
No, I'm good. No, we're good, thank you.
Andrew? Too late.
Okay, well, the only thing that I had on mine is just a discussion about the penalty for hotels that might not be paying their innkeeper's tax. We've got one in particular that has made promises to pay and then they don't follow through. There's always excuses. But this has happened 2 or 3 times at least this way and and just initially not paying the tax. There is already, I believe, a 10% penalty allowed for in the ordinance. Would you want me as the county attorney to start attempting to enforce the 10% penalty? I don't know that we've ever done that before as a county, but this particular hotel has been a problem.
Considering their history, I think we need to just start with the penalty. It's
You
just,
gotta figure out some way to get their attention.
yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just ignore us and they're always behind.
So I could figure out along with the Visitors Bureau and Susan's office how much we think they would owe, because what happens is they also do not put in they do not file their monthly report, because when they file the monthly report, it shows, at least according to their numbers, what the amount is that they would owe. But for the months they don't pay and don't send in the form, theoretically, we don't know how much they owe, but we could say, okay, the prior month was this, and it's likely you owe this month and this much, and
Well,
here's your penalty.
and this-
Or
is
we
this-
would have to go back, like we'd have to go with what they have finally paid. We could say for this, you really
Oh, for
had
what
a
they paid for those
penalty. Yeah, because you
5 months
paid it
last year or
late.
2 years
Yeah.
ago. That's true, and add the penalty onto it. We could go with that, too.
This then the same concern that their percentage of exempt sales is really out of whack compared to the others.
It's the same hotel, yes.
Yep,
Compared to the other ones.
Yep.
Way out of whack.
I'll at least draft something up since I think you gentlemen are in favor of doing that. And I think the Visitors Bureau would appreciate any help we could give them in enforcing this.
Okay.
Yeah. And I still have a concern with those exempt sales. I mean, they were anywhere from 3 to 10 times higher than every other hotel, and I have a hard time following that.
Yeah. Okay, anything else, Andrew?
I don't believe so.
All right. And we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
20 minutes early.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.